Yeah, this is going to be an easy one, actually. I'm so confident that not only are we going to smash this, like usually we're all over the place, nobody can agree on anything, but that we've actually seen the event. So how can we possibly get this wrong? Everybody's seen the event, so we're obviously going to have similar lists. And on top of that, since NA won, now there's not even going to be any NA bias. It's just going to be accurate. So we're going to all have brilliant lists, I think. We're all going to be on the same page. I can't see us agreeing. CJ, are you confident?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I think the more lists that we do, I think it's less about the actual list and more about the conversation. You know, it's more about the friends that we make along the way. So I think focusing on the list would be wrong in this scenario, because I think it's more about, you know.
You did it in 3 minutes again, didn't you? You did it in 3.
I did a reverse snake draft list this time, so I'm looking forward to seeing how this one comes out. Can confirm I got 25 players.
Wait, so you're saying you didn't have 8 out of your top 10 from North America?
No, I don't think so. Can we do honorable mentions first up?
I
have a great honorable.
Can
mention.
I start?
Go for it.
I'll kick it off. I think I'll kick it off. Now, obviously, it was a tough 25 list, but I've got to give an honorable mention to the Rock in the back, the best third man in the business, VK Salen. I thought he was unbelievable. The way that he was just patrolling that goal line, you know, he was creative. He was a human. He was like a human Slender Man in net with his car. And I thought if they just made a couple of more game wins, perhaps, you know, if they went 3-9 instead of 1-9, he might have snuck into that 25.
Wait, no. I mean, CJ, listen, you were bringing this on the field impact. Listen, I was talking about his off the field impact. I mean, the way that man just brought Rocket League to the mainstream. I think his tweets got over 1 million impressions at this point. He just got so many people talking about game. He united the whole entire community. What other player does that after a major? Even if people win, you still got division. But VK Salen, he did the impossible. He put everybody on the same page, and I got to tip that. So that's exactly why he's my honorable mention.
Let me jump in there. Let me jump in with that, because I feel like you could combine both. For a player who's had a performance like him, which is the worst LAN performance he's ever had in his career,
generational,
and not even being able to play on stage, he still somehow found a way to make it all about him. And I think
inserted himself into the discussion, didn't he? Inserted.
Right. Like that is a level of just tactical, just use of your brand that I haven't seen from a lot of people. So I mean,
a lot of us can learn from that.
Yeah, that was big out of him. So
he's gone 48th on the rankings on the stats on every single number you can look at. But he's gone, how can I make this still about me? And he somehow did it. And that's why he has to get an honorable mention. He should be on some list. I'll be surprised if he doesn't feature today. So looking forward to it.
I didn't have him on my list, but it's a good shout for honorable mention. I wanted to give an honorable mention to Brad as well. Again, on and off the pitch contribution, Team Secret qualifying for Worlds, so that was obviously huge against OG in Swiss. But I thought his off the field contribution, shouting back at Comm, absolutely legendary stuff. I mean, the whole team, but mainly Brad, and I want to see the matchup again: Comm versus Brad, OG versus Secret at Worlds. So we can get more of that. So that was fantastic stuff.
Adding on to that as well, I feel like we're all on the same page so far. It's fantastic. Not just his verbal, back and forth with Con, but the way that his in-game chat, he was operating that thing differently. And I just want to highlight, he had 2 words, and it drove a dagger straight into OG. And it was when Con, going into game 5, just wrote in the chat, "Don't choke." And then after game 5, when Secret got the dub, Brad writing, "You choke." It was phenomenal.
Oh,
I mean, great comeback. Great comeback. It's only 2 words, but it dug deep. Honorable mention to him. Fantastic.
That's huge. Do we any more honorable mentions? I kind of want to give an honorable mention to Bananahead. If we did a top 25 for just literally the first round of Swiss, he'd be number 1. I mean, Bananahead was crazy against Oxygen, but he didn't reproduce that performance. If another one of them, and I think he's in the top 25. But the Oxygen series really was his big one.
That's the B-head factor, like every now and again he just has a series where he's the best in the world, and then the other series is the worst. So
well, they all were though. And can I just add on to that, if you're a North American team looking to pick up Bananahead in the off season, let's get some OCE imports. He could slot into a team anywhere below the top 2. Bates, confirm?
I don't know. We'll have to see what my list ends up shaking out with. Maybe I agree with you. Maybe I don't.
Okay. Let's find out then. Number 25. So making it into the top 25 across the board. Let's see what we got. Wait, is that different region across the board? No, it's not. Nearly. I thought we had five different regions, but not quite.
Oscar at 25.
Lost 25?
Yeah, that's a low loss. I'm going to be honest.
That's a low loss.
That's a real
double
low
L.
loss.
It's a low
That's
loss.
That's a great loss.
That's a low loss.
When none of us are anywhere
Great start
close
for the
together on this list. That's a good start.
I don't know. I feel like that's a low
25?
loss. I'm going to be honest.
I like it.
Bit of a low Oscar, but very low loss, I would say.
I've looked at my list. That's a low loss.
Extremely low.
Who wants to start here?
Bro is lost.
I mean, Hoxer. I like how you have Hoxer in your list. I don't know. I don't know if other people have Hoxer in the list, but I like how you have Hoxer in his list. I think he was a top 25 player, without a doubt.
Yep, I also
Wait,
agree.
do
he was
you
top
have
25.
Hoxer in your list, Bates?
I just feel Wait, so I feel like you meant to defend your own, not
Yeah,
just
no,
like
can we-
look at
can we-
other
Yeah,
ones,
like,
you're
where-
right, you're lost.
What is Lost doing down here? Like, Lost was.
Bro tried to talk around it like, no.
It's like, all right, I'll start. Johnny, you got a great game.
Well, I mean, lost at a good. I think his best series was probably against who they playing? They played Vitality. I think that was his best series, and then I guess his second best series was against Oxygen as well. So those are two good series. But other than that, I really didn't see much out of him. He didn't do anything against G2. I know that much to be known. He was basically he was lost on the field. Literally, he wasn't in there. I mean, a lot of people weren't out there when they played G2. So you got to say that. But then the other series as well. I mean, he was okay. I think he really was. I think him and Drufinho kind of traded times when they were second, third best player on the team at this land. Lost was the best in Copenhagen, I think. I think Gan had kind of played underneath his usual superb level. But then right here, this land, Yan stepped it right back up, and then Lost kind of filled it in gaps. If he was more consistent throughout, I don't think they go 3-2 in Swiss. And also, I think they might have a stronger performance, especially against that G2 squad. But he wasn't. He was a little on and off. He had to hit the hot switch sometimes, but then he was very cold other times. So
It feels like you've only ranked him based on that G2.
Yeah,
series.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it feels like. Because
Only
and
watching
everything else you
Japanese.
said just didn't even make sense. Loss was hugely impactful for them making it to where they were, even in the series against Vitality. You cannot tell me that. He was.
I said it in Vitality. That was probably his best series. Were
so
you
he
not
gets
listening?
a top 4 and then lose to G2 and he gets 25?
He had his best series against Vitality, against Cigarado. Rado was on flu game. Congratulations. You want a cookie for that? He had a free series.
He was. I think across the board, I thought Lost was just a solid performance for his. I think he's got high standards, and I think he had a solid LAN. He's not a top 20. He's better than top 25 in the world. Lost just on a average performance. I think he averages better than 25, and I don't think he was below average for him. So how can he be 25? I thought he was solid. But I mean, that's why I expect
top 25.
That's why. No, but 25 is not solid. 25 is below average. There's,
Oh no, 25 is below average. It's 48 players. Unfortunate for Lost. Unfortunate. Listen, he was close, but I guarantee you, they're all getting on me about Lost. Not a single one of them has him above 17. I'm confident in that. I'm confident in that. Unless one of them's out here playing with some random calculations, they don't have them above 17.
that is still a lot. 17 is a lot higher than 25. Even 17 though. That's like
Somebody's got him at 21. It's gonna be CJ. Watch CJ.
Look, I'll agree with you, T-Bait. Sometimes it's hard when you there's some series you really tune in for, and if you don't see that player popping off, it's hard. It's kind of like, I don't know, you can pick it with any player that doesn't have their best series, that you can drop them down. So I feel like you really were hyper focused on him in that G2 series, and that swung you a little bit, and that's okay. That's why we're all 5 different people, 5 different opinions. I'll say for mine, I don't know if anyone else had this fella on here, but I just thought, he clearly was under the weather in that final series, and I'm gonna cut him some slack on that. I don't think it's pretty tough to judge Radosin on that last series. Outside of that, I thought he was pretty good, and I thought he deserved a spot on my top 25, so I've got him in there.
Yeah, I feel like if Radosin, if you completely discount the quarterfinals, I think he goes way higher than 25. But I think he played well in Swiss.
I've got him 24.
No, I will say, for everyone in chat, just a little precursor for my list. So I didn't watch as much of this major as I normally do. I watched pretty much just a few Swiss, and then, Sunday, and then skipped through a lot of everything else. So something I did for this list with Johnny Boy's blessing is I actually got 3 people to contribute to this list, myself included, and took the average. And
who else?
If there's any bad picks, it's because Stumpy is terrible. If there's any great picks, it's because Boyan from Rocket Baguette.
Okay. Yeah, Boyan. Boyan could counterbalance Stumpy for sure.
After the 3 of us put together a list with such a small category, I think when you combine all 3, none of us will be happy because there's been some wild picks that have put some changes in the list. But I thought it would be a little bit of fun to do something like that for a list like this.
We're gonna have to see how that goes. Lastly, on this run, Oski at 25. Dazer, your thoughts on Oski's performance? You've got below average, 1 below average there.
Yeah, I mean, considering I guess average is top 8 compared to all the teams at the event, I would say for Oski, that's listen, in terms of the players that really made an impact on and off the field, I think Oski did really solid individually. So that's why I got him at 25, because he's the only player who's not in the top 8 that's not on the list.
DeMar's doing that standard, non-logical way of approaching
what he just said then.
I think he just said that.
He's saying that everybody in the top 24 came top 8.
It's his top 8, yeah. He's doing my team made top 8, so that means I had to have been a top 25 player at the LAN, which is nonsensical.
Got it.
I think it's very sensical.
No, it's not.
How's it nonsensical?
Because Rock League's a team game.
Because the worst player on one team is not going to necessarily.
It's not automatically going to be a top 25 player at the LAN.
It could happen.
There's not that many.
I think in Copenhagen, it could definitely. You could say that's true because there was such a gulf between everyone else in the top 8 and the rest. But Oxygen were pretty close this time around. Secret, had some good series, and I think Power had some good performances. So this time we'll have to wait and see. We'll see if anybody else has got.
There's literally a 1 team difference from top 8 this event and top 8 the last event.
Let's see the rest of the 24s. Get some more context here. See what we're working with. Okay, we got some synergy already, which is good. That's always good to see that. And a Dralii coming in very low for Yummy Cheese, man.
Which is very interesting for me because I put in my pre-LAN list, I put Dralii number 1.
Oh, yeah.
Which obviously did not pan out whatsoever. VDS did not have the greatest event, especially against Gentlemates.
They just can't beat Gentlemates.
Dralii struggled really early in the Swiss, so unfortunate as well.
I kind of thought they were all of BDS were kind of around the same mark, and I think Monkey Moon was probably the best.
It might obviously this is 3 people, but it might also be for me because I did also rate him low. Is expectations versus reality? You expect to be the best, and then he fell short. So
high standards. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Chronic Daz, your boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, your boy too. You got the same thing.
It's just your boy, so that you'd have more of an insider. The behind the scenes, the goss. How was he feeling going into the event? How was he playing? You were really eyeballing that team, but a lot closer than me. It makes me feel confident about my pick.
As you should. I feel like Chronic is. I feel like he would say he didn't have a good LAN. I think there were a lot of missed opportunities. We saw it throughout the Swiss. And some of those things also translated into the bracket phase. So, I mean, Chronic at 24, it's low for me for sure. But I think considering the performance, it makes sense.
Respect. Agreed.
I don't think, I need to see where the rest of BDS is for Yummy. But I am surprised. I thought you were going to put Chicago higher there, Bates. I'm not going to lie. I thought you'd be higher up on your list with SSG's decent run, 3-1 in Swiss.
My list is about to be the best list here, man. I'm the most unbiased person on this panel. I'm too knowledgeable, and Chicago 24 is great.
Yeah, your list is going to need to take a big turnaround. I think you need some help.
Did you say you're the most unbiased person here?
Yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, because he predicted G2 to win and they won, so that means he's unbiased.
Yummy, how many people predicted G2 on that panel? 0 besides
You know,
me.
how many people would have predicted you predicting G2?
That's a good point.
Literally everybody. You're the most easy to read person in the room.
Well, listen, I go with greatness every single time. So yeah, I mean, I don't.
That's just what it is.
That's actually a really good game. Predicting T-Bait's prediction. I think if you need a day off, I think I could fill 100% for you.
I think a lot of people could.
I think I could do your predictions for you. Anyway, let's go to 23. See what we're looking at here. We need to move on up. You're getting some repeat names. Actually, a lot of repeat names.
Wow.
Got a little bit of Brad
I didn't expect to see
synergy.
2 Dralies. I thought that'd be kind of a little outlier there, but you know what? Okay.
Yeah.
Where you got Dralii at?
Me? Oh, he's around.
We'll have to wait and see.
He's in your list.
We'll have to wait and
We'll
see.
have to wait and see where Dralii is. Listen,
Uh-oh.
Yummy, talk to me about the Brad. I like it.
Yeah, I love me some Brad. And you know what? It's not just on the pitch, it's also the aura as CJ. Oh. Obviously, I haven't been doing commentary for too long, so talking for more than 3 minutes. Wow. Yeah, the aura off the pitch and him, Drafinia, you got to put them higher ranks just because of that. But, you know, when, for me, for Brad specifically, this is a series I did watch. When the chips are down and when you have to win to qualify, that's when the pressure is the highest. That's when the nerves are meant to be the highest. Secret needed to step up. So even though they didn't make it into the top 8, they needed to have a good performer in order to make it to Worlds.
Sure did.
And they did.
There you go. Come on, Yummy. I don't have to say nothing. Clap it up for Yummy. I second all that. Thank you.
Yeah, I thought Brad was good. I had him like, what is he, 26? I don't hit 23. I think it's fine.
Yeah, I had him 26 as well. He's really close.
Yeah, he's a
Got a
good.
lot of players 26, CJ.
Yeah, Bananahead was right there as well. I think it's hard for this event for me, just because I know like the round 4s were pretty cool. You know, we had obviously the OG series, we had a few things online, but I think I'm kind of with Daz in that the round 5s, for the most part, apart from Oxygen, were so one-sided that it's hard for me to like put some of those players into that top 25 just because it looks like that top 7, top 8, top 9 are so much better than the rest. Like G2 nearly perfect sweeping. Oh, sorry, Gen G nearly perfect sweeping power. Stuff like that. Like it was just so BDS smacking Secret. Like it's hard. It leaves that lasting thought in my mind of, they're just a step below. So it's hard for me to put them up in that top 25. That's all.
That's why I
can
put
see why.
Fever in instead of Bananahead, because I thought he was the best in the losses. He was the most consistent on that team.
Oh, you got Fever.
Yeah, I got Fever in the top 25.
I like Fever over there. That's good. That's good.
Bananahead was the guy who popped off against Oxygen, their biggest win, but Fever was consistent throughout the whole tournament. So that's what they need. They need consistency because the range on Bananahead and Torsos is too big. They need to be more. They need to just show up and have a higher floor. I think they can be a threat for top 8. They can't. They're just getting blown out.
It's been the same in OCE. You know, the thing is they've just been able to get away with it. Even when they play bad in OCE, they still get through. Well, they still win it.
All right, let's keep moving on up. Let's see what we've got happening in 22. Oh my word!
What? This has to be the first 4, Pete.
Wow.
This has to be the first 4.
Oh my goodness!
There's no way.
I'm walking
This
away,
has to
dude.
be.
I can't do this.
Apart from a number 1 ranking, obviously. Outside the
You
top
know what
10.
the craziest thing is?
What?
Me and Stumpy both also put AppJack 22.
No shot. What? I guess
And he
Boyan
got
put him higher.
changed.
Boyan must have said
Yeah.
better.
Yeah,
Wow.
Put him higher.
Yummy, if you just trusted yourself, we would have had the 5
DJ,
row
It would have been
lockout.
insane.
5 column
DJ,
lockout.
tell me why AppJack at 22. Tell me why.
Well, I was just actually, I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised really. I just had a glance over on the list and I was like, 22. That does feel a little bit sort of at the other end of the list. But clearly, I'm right because I think it was similar to Chronic. I thought he was a little bit better than Chronic, but just uninspiring. I'd probably say for a lot of the Gen.G performances. I know they made the quarterfinals. I know they had some game fives, but I just didn't really see Jack do anything or do as much as perhaps back in full major sort of winner Rotterdam last year. Just didn't quite see that pop off. I thought he was solid enough, so that's why he's in the 22. I thought he was a nice facilitator for FK, but it was just that middleman. I don't know. Bates, what do you got? Is that enough for you?
No, I mean, that's pretty good. I'm gonna take it from there, man. Of course, if you watch if you watch the good cast between the good guys G2 versus the bad guys Gen.G over there on the Ultra stream on the B stream, you would notice that ApparentlyJack. I mean, he didn't have his best performance. Couldn't hit the net board, nothing. He definitely needs to hit the training packs in terms of shooting, but in terms of everything else, cutting in the midfield, disrupting demos, making plays, making it easier for FK to cook up, giving Chronic the space to hold down the back line. I think ApparentlyJack is pretty solid. Of course, he always can play better, but in terms of being a top 25 player at the land, 22 was just a good spot for him. Good spot for what he brought to the table this time around.
Yeah, I'll tell you what though is this kind of synergy. That's why I said now we've seen the event. We're just unbelievably good at this. I challenge you all at home to try this to see if you can get any kind of results like what you've just seen there. But yeah, Jack was. I mean, he wasn't consistent. He didn't have the highest peak for him either. So yeah, he's just down at 22. I think they were very close, obviously though, to having a very different event. Game 5 lost to Vitality 1-0. Overtime lost to G2 1-0. They could have had a drastically different event if they just got one of those game 5s. Especially if they land in Vitality spot there, playing Fury. I think they can win that. Now they're top 4. Yeah, they were close, but you can't lose those close matches. You've got to get one of them, or else you're going to be down here at 22. But okay, let's see about 21. Oh, just God. Oski at 22. I actually love that because I've got Oski at 21. So good job there, Yumi. Even though you didn't get ApparentlyJack in there. I still like it. It's good enough spot there. We've also got some Hawkser synergy. There are just so many combo picks here, guys. Keep it up. This is fantastic.
Look at Oscar. I mean, I
love that.
I think, as you can see with my previous 4 picks, I've just kind of got the NA 2 and 3 men of 2 teams just all in the same spot, and I had to put Mr. Throbman at 21, the highest of the list out of the 4 of them, because his presence was unbelievable. He just kept stepping up, and it was just again he's the what?
What did you really just say that?
The what?
What'd you call him?
Okay, never mind.
What are you talking about, Bates? Like you just imagine?
Sorry, what? Hawkser. He was around the mark. I thought they were all kind of similar in terms of just good supporting roles without doing anything crazy. But SSG's run was fantastic, really. 3-1 in Swiss, only losing to Falcons, and then they lose to the team that they never beat. So can't really complain. They had a phenomenal tournament for their standards.
Yeah, what do you think about Hawkser, Yumi? You've gone Hawkser here as well.
I mean, I wish SSG did a little better in terms of, I was thinking that they could be the one to make a run, but they took down Furia, so, can't have done too badly. And I think we all know there was one standout player on that team that's kind of going to be much higher.
I hope so.
A little bit.
I hope so. I guess we can go Dazzer and Radosin 21 despite being sick. That's a high shout for Radosin. So you respect for the performance there.
Yeah, for sure.
Given the situation,
I think Rado definitely. Yeah, I would probably. I think the last time I did a list stream, I had Rado probably at 18 or something around there. He's always jumped around the board for me. But I think this time around, yeah, you definitely still have to give him his credit to what he still brings to Vitality. But at the same time, yeah, definitely wasn't the best series for him. Still, everybody could easily see that, something was bothering him. I think people are saying he felt sick, so that you have to take that into account. And then I think at that point, that part just is what it is. But I think, everywhere else, kind of consistent over the course of the Swiss stage. And I think if he felt better, we really don't know what would have happened in that series with Vitality and Furia. It could have been a completely different outcome. So I'm still going to give him his credit.
So I'll give him his credit. Interesting. Not bad. I mean, y'all's lists are all like pretty ass so far. Apologies. Apologies.
What don't you like about them? What don't you like about them?
I just don't see. I just don't see how. See, I'm just letting everything marinate. I'm letting everything marinate. I don't know if you get demonetized on YouTube since I curse. If that happens, I'm sorry. I paid a fine of 5 cents. But going back. It's just like I'm confused. Because I'm just letting everything cook right now. I'm letting everything cook. CJ's got a wave of red. Tomorrow just said Radosin was sick, but then he still has him in the top 25. So I'm still confused. We're gonna see.
What's wrong with my wave of red?
Your wave of red top 25 because he's sick.
You got 2 of them.
I mean, yeah. Your wave of red isn't bad yet. But the rest of y'all. Interesting.
Well, what's wrong with my list? Actually, though, truth be told, was
Oski just a little too low. Like, come on now. Like, did y'all watch that man?
You have lost at 25.
Listen,
you probably actually shouldn't have an argument with loss at 25 because then you have to explain every other pick higher than him right now.
I mean, I don't have to explain it because I believe that every single person at the land played better than him on a consistent basis. Brad was more crucial to his team than Lost was to his team. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, but you're not swapping Brad for Lost on his team.
Is this who's the best player, or is this who performed the best?
I thought it was who performed the best, right?
Exactly. So why'd you bring up the
So why would you? Because you're saying that a player who didn't even make top 8 is doing better than a player who made top 4.
Because that's like saying Jason Tatum's better than LeBron James at basketball just because Jason Tatum won the NBA championship. Jason Tatum is not better than LeBron James.
He probably
at
had a better season.
No, his team had a better season. Jason Tatum is ass.
Oh, you don't even know. You can't provide the data for that argument. Meanwhile, you have all the stats and everything right in front of you for these 2 players, and you deliberately picked one in front of the other, even though he wasn't good. Brad didn't do that good, considering he made top 8.
Brad was the best person on his team. Brad was the best person on his team. Listen,
he was the best player on a team that finished where
against complexity. They clutched up against OG, and Brad.
They clutched up against OG.
Yeah, they did. Clutched up. He had to perform
against OG. Do you have any OG players on this list?
The lost clutch up against G2? I don't think you did. Thank you very much. I keep going.
G2.
Maybe I do have OG players on the list.
You don't have any OG players on the list. Because you're that
you might sneak Comm in there somewhere. I'm gonna wait and see it though. I think you might, but no, I think Oski 21 is like, that's very respectful given the terrible result that the team had. Like they lost to Power, for crying out loud, as a team who are coming in as one of the contenders.
He scored like 98% of their goals. He had 2 hat tricks in a series, didn't he? Or something like that. Or maybe it was another series. Them losing to Power was non-Oscar.
I mean,
listen.
He was their best player.
Have you seen my boy Joyo's stats? You know I love Joyo. Have you seen his stats from the land? He was practically not there. And now it's probably Joyo's worst land ever.
Yeah, I think Joyo and Archie were definitely like massively underperforming. But yeah, Oski getting onto top 21, I'd say, given the land they had a terrible land. Like as a team, they had a terrible land, and he's partially responsible for that because their only wins were against Twisted Minds and Gaming Gladiators. Twisted Minds, who ended up going 12th, Gaming Gladiators 14th. So they didn't even get a quality win, and then go out 9th place to off the back of a bad tail end run. No, they just lost. So I just don't rate the team's run, and he's partially responsible for that. You can't just absolve him of all responsibility because he scored most of their goals.
Interesting. We'll see.
Yeah, he was their best player.
If they at least had some better wins in the Swiss, but like, of course you can farm stats when you're playing up against Gladiators, Twisted Minds, Power.
Yeah, plus how many did he score against Power? What was his goal? Yeah, he scored like
so
2 goals per game, and then the rest of the team had like 0 or something. But yeah, it's not like the other guys weren't getting the assists, so like, I don't know. He's scoring all the goals, but he is getting assists. I think he was the best player, but you can only put him so high. I'm curious to see where he ends up, though, because I think he's going to be on everybody's list.
I think 21's ridiculous.
That's why you got him at 20. That's why you got him at 20.
Let's see. That's...
But I think 20 is right on the button for this man, because how can you put Oski? I mean, he had a fantastic performance. I mean, Archie spent more time in Dior than he did in playing games at the moment. That's all. I don't know where he was on that pitch, but I think the nerves got him or something. But Joyo wasn't there. Oski, though, he put up numbers. He was okay. He was good enough to get 20, but you just could not put him anywhere else but the 2-0.
I think 20 is just a step too high. I reckon 21 and below is fine. 20 though, outrageously high. I mean, what's going on here? Top 20 player at the LAN. You're losing the power going out in 9th place in Swiss. That's just mental. Yeah. Absolutely mental.
We can agree to disagree on that. I mean, it's just I mean, 20 just feels right. 21, it feels wrong.
I'd say it's the other way around, mate. I reckon 21 is exactly where he belongs. It's a big Oscar 21. But yeah, he can only go up from here, surely. Starting next year, because obviously they're out. So I mean, they're going to need to wait a bit. But
it's a bit of a wait.
The summer league's wide
still
open.
Doesn't have Fever on the list, and he's got to have put him higher than Bates.
Yeah, 20's
not a true representative of Oceania.
Maybe I'm not a true. Again, he's an honourable mention. Bananahead. I would have had B-Head higher. I know that Fever had the consistency, but I just like B-Head. I like players that sort of just control the pitch, control the speed of the game. LJ is a prime example. B-Head was kind of that for power, but I just couldn't. I don't know. Maybe I could have got him on, but I like Radosin at 25 instead.
Yeah, Fever 20. That is that the highest OCE pick of all time for Bates?
I think for a post-LAN, I think Bates put him really high on a pre-LAN list.
On a pre-LAN?
If I recall.
Listen, I missed international.
Shut up. Please shut
You
up.
didn't have any OCE players for 2.5 years.
I know, yeah. It took me a while. I had to start traveling the world. I had to start hopping on flights.
I mean,
Once I started hopping on flights, I mean, it just opened up my eyes a little bit.
Mr. International got lost at 25. Listen, you be careful. Like, just be careful. Don't pull up in Rio de Janeiro with that kind of ranking for lost. You're going to be in big trouble. Like, don't get off that plane. Do not go through security
anytime soon.
Wait, how do you pronunciate Oceania or Oceania?
It depends who you ask, but
Oceania,
yeah.
Oceania.
OCE.
It's whatever you want. OCE, that works.
Exotic made the list, Yummy. That's actually pretty high for Exotic. You said that you reckon they're all pretty similar to Exotic, Dralii, Monkey Moon's performance?
I felt like Exotic Dralii were pretty similar for me. Obviously, Monkey Moon is higher. Also, this was a little bit of a stumpy pick for the high. But, 20, I don't mind that. Where for me, like between 25 through to maybe like 18 is all very similar. There were very distinct bands in terms of our rankings, like about 4 to 9, all very, very similar, like 12 to 18, very similar, and then 19 to 25 were very similar. So little small margins between those guys. Actually, 17 to 25, very small margin.
I couldn't split BDS, so I think it's like when you look at I'm all about the averages, but if no one's really high, then everyone, I feel like all of BDS are kind of just middle of the road. They didn't really beat anyone at all, and that quarterfinal was terrible. So it's hard to put them very high.
There were three total average ranking points between 17 and 24.
In your committee,
together, yeah.
The Yummy Boy and Stumpy committee.
Yummy committee, yeah.
It's illegal. Let's talk about this after the show.
This is cheating. Okay, if this list turns out too good,
can I just point out, by the way, how just disrespectful North American talent are? I reached out to the North Americans. And not a single one of them responded.
Holiday mode, aren't they? Vacation
like the
mode.
Yummy Council.
They're all in Cancun.
Just losing all the NA rep.
The Yummy Council.
Yeah, maybe next time it'll be a global council, but for now
I was getting way too big about top 15.
European.
I felt like the bottom picks. Whatever.
I think Exotic's way too low at 20, but 19 is probably where I'd have him. Again, it's annoying. Yes, they're all around the mark. I probably overrate Exotic. I think I picked my fantasy back in Copenhagen, but I love what he's about. I think he's probably underrated. But again, he wasn't fantastic, to be honest, at all. I don't think anyone at BDS was fantastic, especially Monkey Moon for his standards, Dralii for his online standards are all just They were there. They were okay, but they weren't great.
I've agreed with CJ on players 3 times in this list, and I'm starting to get worried.
Why are you worried?
Why does that
CJ
worry
does
you?
bad lists.
What's
Wow.
wrong with me? I think. Hang on. Who's won the most? Has anyone done an overall tally of our prediction contest? Who's won the most?
Actually,
But see,
I know Yummy's been farming.
That's a popular vote.
Yeah, I think Yummy wins.
Yummy's
I think
been
Yummy wins a
farming
lot,
recently.
actually. Yeah, I think he's
Yummy's
actually
won
pretty
all of it. I
undefeated.
think about it.
He's actually
Oh,
pretty
that's-
undefeated. I think, but see, like in terms of just pure passion and storylines, I think I've won over the people the most.
Oh,
out of
you
everybody.
just cannot. This is just an airy fairy. This is quantitative versus qualitative. Like, it's what is this? Pure passion.
I think
bro.
Bates has won the most worst lists.
I
of
think
all
you've come
time,
last
so-
the most times. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I
dead,
think I have.
absolutely dead last.
I think I have, but I just went over the people. And listen, like these are all great lists right now. Well, no, they're not all great lists, but what we're doing right now is we're all in great unison. Cause we're slowly getting to like the top 15, and I feel like once the top 15 comes, then we'll actually get to where like there'll be some disagreement.
Okay, well we can keep going because we have Monkey Moon Alpha, and we're starting to see some underperforming EU greats here.
Yep.
There's the 5th, apparently Jack, to bring
Alpha's
his average
way
up to
too low
20.
at 19.
Yeah, oh, I've almost made that roll blue.
Great, here he comes with his Alpha at 18
Yeah,
nonsense.
Alpha 18.
It's disgusting.
Oh,
Bananahead
oh,
at 18 as well.
Oh, but
we
no,
got a
okay,
B-head in
This
here.
guy. True
Yeah,
OC
someone only
fan.
watched round 1 of Power.
Yeah. Someone watched their first match and then thought that's great.
Yo, this is so crazy to me.
What? Y'all don't believe in Banana Head?
What do you watch when you do you watch like one match on the broadcast and that's enough for the whole major? Is that like what happens when you watch the games? There's no way you
5.
like how do you have Banana Head over Lost? I don't
Yeah,
get
that's
it, bro.
actually crazy too.
Banana
bro.
Head meant more to his team than Lost did.
I
Where?
don't know
When?
if it
How?
did,
In what
actually.
manner?
Oh, in the first series, yes.
In all the series.
Round 1.
What?
In which series? When they got 0-3
Oh, and the
by
3-1 where
G2?
they won over Gladiators, that one was great.
Wait, then Lost gets spanked by G2 too? What's the point? And Lost has Yan on his team, so what's Lost's excuse? Because Banana Hand doesn't have Yan. Banana Hand doesn't
Yeah,
have
he's
Yan.
got
I'm
Fever
sorry.
though. Don't disrespect Fever.
Okay, yeah, he's got Fever. Yeah, Fever's on my list. Yeah, but where's Yan? Lost has Yan, and Yan still, and then Lost still got smacked by G2. So what's the point you're making right there? G2 smacked everybody besides Falcon. So like I'm.
Yeah, I wouldn't make it G2.
Vert said you're the Skip Bayless of the stream so far, Bates.
No, I'm not the Skip Bayless though. Kai. This makes sense, bro. Like,
No, you don't.
listen. I'm watching this power team, man. Banana Head, he's a striker. He's a striker. He's always threatening. And he just means so much. There's so much pressure on Banana Head to score the ball on that team, and then he delivers. I mean, the only issue is that they're just moving a little bit slower as a collective unit against some of the best teams. I do believe that this power team, they're one move away from making it happen. One move away from making it happen in top 8. I really do believe that. And I think Banana Head and Fever, they both played pretty good, pretty solid. And that's why I have him up there. I just believe he means more to the team.
Well, okay, let's just
pretty
clarify. They were all awful against Gen G. Power vs Gen G was not even remotely competitive. They didn't want to play. They were terrible. So they were all. They don't get any points for that series for me. And then if you look at the SSG and the G2 losses, Banana Head had 40% goal participation and 33% goal participation. Fever had 80 and 100. He's scored in like all the goals or like assisting all the goals against Space Station and G2. Now, granted, there weren't very many, but Banana Head is just not involved in anywhere near as much against the top teams. Like when they play top tier competition, Banana Head's not there. He was peak against Oxygen.
Banana Head isn't there. That's a team game, man. Every single unit person has to be there. If somebody's not beating somebody on a challenge that ends up messing up the rotation, somebody's got to come back. That's why Rocket League is all a team unit, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Fever
Banana
Fever's most consistent by far. Like he was actually somewhat effective in those series where Banana Head did not show up. He needs to be more consistent against the top teams.
I guess, I don't know.
I don't even think you thought about this. I feel like there's just like no thought about this. Because you can even go and you can watch. You can go like watch even the replays and just like even see Banana Head second man chasing his teammate just in the wrong position. You didn't even say that when you brought up your argument as to why they performed poorly. I think they're a great team on paper. They just had a bad game plan because they're still stuck on OC play style because they don't play good comp. That's the reason why they didn't do well.
Brother,
I think if you get the way it gets
you're about
consistent
to
comp,
put all of Furia in your top 25, bro.
look at your strength of schedule.
Furia went 3-2 in Swiss.
Who did they play?
And then they played Vitality with Radosin on the flu game. and then it got absolutely destroyed by G2.
Who did they play and who did Power play?
And mind you, Yam was putting on a masterclass the whole entire land, by the way. Masterclass against OG, controlled the pace the whole entire time. I really can't tell you what Dr. Rufy was doing outside of a calling for pauses every single 2 seconds.
Hey, go easy on Dr. Rufy. He was popping.
First of all, he didn't even cause half the pauses. Fury is the one that caused most of the pauses. This is how I know you don't watch the matches.
I mean, like, what do you mean Fury wasn't causing for pauses? Fury called.
I said Fury caused 2 of the pauses. 2 of the 3 pauses were Fury's side.
Oh yeah,
did you watch the series?
Listen, I was watching. He kept calling for pauses. That's all I'm saying. That was his most impactful thing the whole time. Off that and flipping off Vitality. 2 of the most impactful plays. So if you're gonna take that into account,
didn't even listen to what I just said.
You're gonna take that into account. Then listen, I guess he is an 18 player.
There's one thing we do know. You have been clearly studying hard for your bar exam. Little time put into this T25. Now, I just realised something as well. I mean, 18 for Dr. Rufy is disrespectful. Can we pull up 17, please?
You can't. Why are you copying my list? You're one right behind every. Stop it.
It is disrespectful to put Dr.
You're
Rufy
one behind every single time. I did put comment. He put comment. I told you he'd put comment there.
I was top 25 player this
line. He did too.
All right, sorry. Go on. Why is Dr. Rufy 18 plus?
I mean, just inspirational post-series celebration. I mean, they had to put him up for. He just shot up the. He was probably 22, 21, but then straight up to 17 for me with that. I mean, just flipping the double bird is something that I have not seen on land in front of a crowd ever. Crazy.
Days.
Very good. Yeah, very good.
I like, by the way, I like doing these lists by committee because then I always have someone to blame. Look, I had a Frenchman on my committee, you know? There's nothing I can do
you
about
talked to Radosin in French. He probably got the full diagnosis straight from Radosin. He probably knows exactly how bad it was. Maybe we need to respect that. But yeah, Radosin at 17, I mean, that must have been a bad flu that he had. If you're going to put him all the way up.
Terrible flu. He was amazing in Swiss, though. Anybody watch Swiss? What? Like, dude.
I don't know what y'all watching, bro.
What, you don't think he was amazing in Swiss?
No.
I feel like when teammates looks at Rocket League, he did like the screen just shows him a completely different reality than anybody else. Like he watched a different game because he looking at the screen like.
When was Radosin amazing in Swiss? Which game?
He like started off the Gen G series brilliantly.
So let's see here. Let me go to day 2 Swiss stage. They went 3-0, right? So let me go to round 3. Who they play?
Yeah, they went 3-0.
It was Vitality versus Fury. Oh, Vitality versus Fury. All right, let me see here. Players. Let me check the stats. See what it look at. Zen averaging 500 points per game. Radosin put up 400. Not terrible. Not terrible. So I guess he wasn't bad. Zen averaged 500. I mean, you're averaging 5. You got a player averaging 500 points a game, man. I mean, like, God damn. Like, it just doesn't get much easier for you. You got the best player in the game. This is what he does. He makes it easy for you. Radosin had 10 saves.
Look at the Gen G series. Look at the Gen G series.
2.50 saves.
Radosin had 70% goal participation against Gen G. He had 1.2 goals per game. Zen and Alpha had 0.4 each. Radosin was sick against Gen G. And then he was literally sick against Furia. I mean, what more do you want from the man?
He was sick the whole time.
He was sick literally the whole time. What I'll say is that, listen, he played pretty solid. But say 17, even with the flu game, I don't know, man. The highest you could put him is 20 this time around. Highest you could put him is 20. Everybody else have him under 20? Yep. Underneath 20. Yep. Yummy. Unfortunately, out the way.
I put him 21, but you know,
boy, I had him up there.
French, man, the French.
Man, the Yummy committee needs some cohesion. You guys need to have a meeting, for goodness sake. But can we talk?
No, it's great because just if somebody makes a good pick, I could be like, well, you know, like, but this pick was really good. You know, it was just Stumpy that put him down. You know?
Okay, can we talk about Comm? Comm at 17 is
Comm above
that's a terrible pick. That's a terrible pick. They went 1-3.
Like, who'd they beat?
They beat Twisted Minds 3-2. They beat them in game 5. It wasn't even a good win.
And they dropped a game to Mobula. My man VK. It was good though. But
Twisted Minds were 2-0 up, and then OG had to reverse sweep them with 2 overtimes in a row.
They sure did have the reverse sweep. Listen, it was the Comm presence. The Comm presence. I think Comm played one of his better lands. I mean, obviously the results aren't there.
There's no way you can say that. He literally made, what do you mean? He made like
He's done really well at some lands.
You play with beast mode. What, you know, for like CJ, like CJ.
If I put you, can say he had one of his better lands. He went 1-3, and he beat Twisted
CJ,
Mind.
that's
There's
the
no
team game, bro.
Are you watching them on the pitch? They look like 3 men with walking sticks. They have no mech. They're just not doing anything. You just poke OG with a stick. You just want him to do something on the ball. They're doing nothing. Comm's good because he gets his demos. He was okay.
I mean,
but seriously, I mean, they're not. They're so uninspiring to watch. They need to find some sort of mechanics.
Okay. So are you going to hold it against Zen if Vitality only doesn't get top 8? If Zen goes and averages 500 or 450, whoever Zen's going to do, you can hold it against him.
But Comm isn't averaging 500 though, is he?
Exactly.
He's not, and they're not. They're also not getting top 8.
Radosin's averaging 400.
They're also
no. Radosin averaged 400 for one series. Radosin really averaged like 360 or 370 for the tournament. What did Comm average? Comm averaged 395. 392, my bad. 392 for the tournament.
Nah, listen, you can't. They went 1-3, bro. Come on, they lost to Furia. They got stomped by BDS. They lost to Twisted Minds, for goodness sake. They barely beat Team. They barely beat Twisted Minds. Lost to Team Secret. That is a shocking LAN, and you can't have him that high. There's just no way he had a better LAN than lost. No shot.
Nah, because that's why Brad was at 23. Because Brad, he had to clutch up for that reverse sweep, big reverse sweep. So it lands him ahead of Loss, who made it to Championship Sunday. Who cares about that?
Also, he had a lot of long overtimes. What was his points per minute? Because points per game, when you go out 1-3 and you don't really play that much, a little bit of a flawed stat. Because you're farming points in those long overtimes.
Yeah, he had a 5-minute overtime as well.
Yeah, some long overtimes in there.
Twisted Minds.
Listen, now we're holding. I guess we got the man goes in overtime. Listen, you do what you do. You got to do it.
Don't cherry pick the one thing we said out of the 500 about it.
You got to do it. You got to do it.
Teammates, also, I don't know. Points is it doesn't really tell the whole story, does it? Leoro from what are they called? Mobilite got 370 points. 370 points for 5 minutes.
He was kind of popping like,
Leoro looking good. If I wasn't an outspoken Mobula hater, I might have put Leoro in the top 25.
No, there's no way you're not doing that. No, you're not. You just start doing that. Come on.
I mean, I think Leoro played pretty good. He played with the worst player at the land, VK Salin.
Whoa. Go easy on him.
No, I'm actually, that made me too easy. And some would say that VK Salin didn't deserve to be at the land, and other people deserve to be there because VK Salin's taking spots. But that's neither here nor there.
I'm just gonna say, if you snuck common in 21 to 25, somewhere in that range, I'd be like, okay, maybe, but 17 is we're getting a bit too high here.
He snuck lost in.
Yeah, he snuck lost in at 25. Thought we would have done
scraped into 25.
You should have just left lost off the list, honestly. That would have been a better strategy, because maybe we wouldn't notice. But now you've just put him in the bottom. Every time I look at your list, it's the first thing I see.
Yeah. I do want to point out, you guys all have Drafinio just way too low. Just like...
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, let's see it. Let's just go straight for it. Boom. We've nailed Drafinio.
Oh, no.
We really have nailed Drafinio there.
This is a very even sort of...
Yeah, there's only one list that's looking a little different right now.
It's the list of the person who actually rates it based off of individual play, not based off of how far did my team go and how far did my great teammates carry me. Yeah, it's me. I'm the one who rates it.
How great players are able to gain space and do.
You can't even tell me how did Furia beat OG? Just curious.
How did Fury beat OG?
Because did Lost beat him or did Yam beat him?
It doesn't matter. They're going to beat OG with any unit. They're just better. It doesn't matter who plays well. I don't even look at that series when I decide who played well for Furia.
It was a Yan masterclass.
But it doesn't matter, though. If Yan didn't have a masterclass, then they would have won anyway. That series is so inconsequential for Furia's story through the LAN, because OG were terrible. Nobody cares about how Furia looked against a terrible team at the LAN OG. They were not impressive. So it doesn't. I don't think it matters. I think you only look at the series against the other top teams for a team of Furia's caliber, because they're stomping OG. They're a different level. So I don't think it matters.
How did beat Gentlemates? It was a Yam masterclass again. Yam masterclass every series.
Well, if you look at the stats, actually, we've got Drafinio 1.35 rating, Yan 0.8 rating against Gentlemates. Drafinio scored 1.25 goals per game. Yan 0.5.
You know why I do that? because teammates can't play defense. Yan has to play back. He has to.
Yeah,
Well,
like,
but like
you-
they
I feel
both,
like,
they
did you
both had the
spin?
same saves per game. They both had 1.25 saves per game. They didn't.
I don't give a damn what the saves per game is. That's the
I
most
feel-
trash stat in the game. Nah, listen. Saves per game. Listen, you could just be coming back off the rotation one time and hit the ball one time. You get a save. Like, congrats. You want a cookie for that? No.
Yo, I feel like teammates used to work at like some sports facility the way the goalposts are moving left and right all over the field.
Yeah, for
now
Thomas
suddenly
points per
we have
game.
to care about how many points per game somebody scored, but let's not care about how many saves, even though that factors into the points per game scored there. Oh, this player was doing everything. Oh wait, he didn't do everything stats wise. Oh, that's just because his teammates couldn't play defense, so now he had to play defense and then do this, even though he didn't have a lot of points. Like we move it left and right. Like teammates, please take me off this roller coaster. It's going everywhere. I'm getting nauseous the way you keep moving everything around. Pick something to stick with it.
Series. We won't see the stats for that series, but let me see the stats for this year. I feel like you have the most confirmation bias of anyone I've ever
Yeah,
met. Like if you
it's
believe
true.
something, you will find something to back that up.
Yeah, that's true, actually.
He's got to defend. I mean, the boys are all up front. He's got to get back. When he's gone 600, of course he's scoring 600 points every game. His teammates are doing nothing. They got no offense.
Thank you, CJ. You're catching along now. Now you get it.
Now listen,
not
you can't just pick and choose. So you can't be using like your stats for COM 17 and then also say ignore Drafinho's MVP performance
I didn't
against
want to bring up
Gentlemen.
the
Ignore that.
stats. I didn't want to bring up the 392, but then DeMar brought it up, so I had to bring it up. But I didn't want to bring it up because I had no interest in bringing it up. I want to bring up the stats for people who really are like scoring a lot of stuff like that, scoring a lot and like doing stuff like that. I feel like the goals, especially when you go back as like individual plays, you remember the individual plays. That those matter.
Well, you wanted points per game. Drafinho had the highest points per game against G2, higher than Yan, higher than Lost in the most important match they played in the entire tournament.
Yeah, he's got to go for the ball.
Their best win in the tournament against Gentlemates in Swiss. He was also their highest rated player. Scored the most goals.
Yeah, drop 1,000 against G2. Oh no,
What?
I got recorrected. It ended up being 900. Oh, what's that against the Vitality? It was against somebody.
Well, in one of the games.
I think no, it was
I don't
against
remember.
Vitality. I remember it was Vitality on what you call it.
Yeah.
Nah,
that was-
Drafinho-
masterclass.
Drafinho was easily, comfortably. I mean, we look at everybody else. We've all like got him in the exact same area. You can't just be telling us he's not on your list because at this point it's pretty clear he didn't make your list, which is insane. That is an insane placement for Drafinho. That's even worse than having lost 25.
Unless
Drafinho
he's
was
15.
he was comfortably
Yeah,
a top
you could
25
put
player.
you could put Droofy above Lost if you want, but
Oh, that won't be happening.
No,
quick
clearly he's not
question,
in there.
Johnny, because
Yeah.
you're the only one. Why Chronic that much above ApparentlyJack? Because everybody else put ApparentlyJack above Chronic.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that actually. Wait, I don't see a Chronic on Bates yet, but maybe he just didn't make it. I don't
feel
see
like
it
he
on
didn't make
you
it.
either. Maybe he didn't make it. I'm surprised. I thought
Yeah.
Chronic, he had a bit of a quiet start to the LAN, but actually in the tail end of Swiss, he was stepping up. He looked locked in again. Yeah, what are you going to do against Falcons in quarterfinals? I don't really think any of them are too
Beat 'em.
huge. But yeah, Jack was like very much. I think Jack was their consistent player, but Chronic had like more impact in key series for me. So I don't know. A lot of people are saying he had like the worst line of all time. I don't think he had the worst line of all time.
I think apart from that, I know he hit one, he clipped once, he had like a triple tap backboard touch, but apart from that, he looked wobbly, I'd say, for the
He
majority
didn't
of the
go
event.
for the ball. You can't be on this list if you don't go for the ball. He's camping net. That's the main reason they lost the G2. Chronic refused to go. I kept saying it on the cast. Jack couldn't shoot yet,
I
but
don't think
Chronic
that's
just
true
refused.
though. I
He
don't
doesn't
think
go
that's
for the
what
ball.
happened.
Chronic saves per game are ridiculous. He's camping net. You gotta go for the
Okay,
ball.
let's take a look at the stats. Gen G versus G2. Firstkiller 3.2 saves per game. Chronic 2.6. Chronic 1 goal per game. Apparently Jack 0. Jack did get 1 assist per game though. Firstkiller got no assist per game. No assists at all. Chronic had the highest goal participation against G2. 80% of their goals. That's pretty good actually, if you ask me.
Hey,
I don't
and he
think
could have had more.
I don't think you can tell me that
won
he
the
was.
games.
No,
They only
listen.
scored like two. How many times did they score?
Well, I mean, they lost by
Scored once
game
they
5
scored-
overtime, so they scored enough to
scored
make it
2
a pretty close
times.
series.
2 times in game 3, 1 time in game 5, 2 times in game 4.
The whole. Are you talking Gen G G2? The whole series score was 12-2 in G2's favor. It wasn't like a one-sided series. It was a close series, and Chronic was very effective statistically. And I remember I watched the series. I didn't think Chronic was playing badly.
Chronic's
I
not
playing
going
well.
for the ball, Johnny. Go back and watch the replays.
I watched
not
it.
going.
I watched it live. I know you watched it live as well, but you might have been in your
I
fanboy
did.
mode. I don't know if you're really like analytical at that moment. I don't know. I don't think I'm the one who needs to go back and watch
Chronic
that.
goes for the ball more. Gen G starts winning. I guarantee it. I promise you. If he starts going for the ball, if he wants to play passive and play pansy, they're not going to win. Not at this level. It's not
Isn't he their third man, though? Like, Chronic's their third man.
Yes, you could be third man, but you still have to be aggressive. Go look at Zen. Go look at Daniel. You can't play passive. You have to control the pace. You have to keep the ball in. He's not doing it. He lets people get out too much.
I don't know. That's a scapegoat. I don't think Chronic had a bad. I think the Gen G had a bad line. I don't think Chronic was particularly bad. I thought that overall the team was bad, but they looked pretty. I don't know what you'd expect from them individually.
It could have been G2.
They lost in Game 5 overtime. What are you talking about? They couldn't have beat them.
And honestly, I think, I know. Because they got a good.
You don't get literally. You can't get closer to winning than Game 5 overtime.
You said teammates list is how they performed against G2 list.
Actually, yes. You should. That's I don't know. That's a scapegoat Chronic kind of situation. I'll definitely go back and watch his series. I'll probably go back and watch all the series between the top 8 teams anyway. But that's not what I remember. I don't remember Chronic. He had a bit of a shaky start, but he settled in.
He didn't score his first goal until like that triple tap with like CJ was talking about. What series was that?
Yeah. Something on Utopia.
It took him a while to score.
That's what I mean. Like he had a slow start, but after that, like he's slow against Secret, but it doesn't matter. It's Secret; they're gonna win. So I don't know if it's that impactful, but yeah, not having him in there is surprising. I thought you would be in everybody's list for sure. Chronic. We'll have to.
Let's suss the 15 on that.
Right, T-Base has been waiting for top 15s all day, so let's see where we've all gone with the top 15. There they are. Okay, got lost at 15 for Dazarin.
See, this is where the list is gonna start getting a little crazy. Because there's no way Firstkiller was at 15.
Yeah, I actually think this is my first.
You need to explain.
Actual bad placement, but I will say, I think Firstkiller kind of sits in the 12 to 15 range. So, there's only so much. Gen G didn't have a great land. Didn't have a great land. Firstkiller should be in a lot more. There should be a bigger gap, I'll say, between Firstkiller and ApparentlyJack on my list. 100% as well. But, you can't be too high if you're a Firstkiller who's carrying, but you have a rough land like you did.
He didn't have a rough land, though. Listen, just blame Boyan. Blame Boyan for not rated NA high enough. That's what you do. Blame him right now. I'm giving you a scapegoat.
I thought FK. I thought he was okay.
It was Stumpy actually that put him low. Boyan actually had him.
Oh, it was Stumpy.
Highest, but,
I mean, Stumpy doesn't know.
Stumpy's an NA hater. So.
Maybe he didn't. Maybe he was late to a content piece, and Stumpy's getting him back for it. I'm not sure if that makes sense. The Firstkiller lower than 15 is very low. But I mean, he wasn't spectacular. He was.
Yeah,
he was tacular. I thought he was good, but for Firstkiller standards, he was just like he was good.
I think if you look at series,
it's impact, baby.
Maybe underrated the fact that he goes to game 5s as well, which I'm making an excuse here for Stumpy. Game 5s against G2 and Vitality is pretty good, but outside of that, their wins Secret, Oxygen, Power could have maybe had a better win. In the Swiss. Can't really fault them for losing to Falcons in the quarterfinals, let's be honest.
Yeah, that was tough. Well, I mean, we've all faulted them for it, as in we've ranked all of them down for it, but I don't think it was any individual player's fault. They were just, as a team, a bit outclassed in that series.
I just can't believe that DeMar's actually going to argue that the top 24 players of the LAN all made top 8. Like, I'm looking at this. You're actually going to have every people from every team. They're the top 24. That is ridiculous. DeMar, that's like saying if you and me get top 8, you, me, and Raul, you're gonna be a top 24 player. You're not. It's gonna be because me and Raul were balling, and you were just so happy to be on the team. So no, you can't make the list.
Are you done, dude? There's only literally a 1-team difference from this top 8 and last event's top 8. We've had 2 lands this season. We're about to have the last land, and you know what? I could probably tell you at this next land, we'll probably have a similar top 8.
Well, listen, that has absolutely
do you think the top 8 is going to change? Yeah, it has everything to do with all of those teams and how they play against other teams.
No.
I don't even know why I'm arguing with a guy who has...
The land is not made for pure competitiveness. It's made to make sure we have as many regions as possible represented. That's a different conversation. No, don't say that, because we had... maybe it wouldn't actually. Auction kind of choked. I don't think anybody from NA can do anything. Well, Shopify might be able to do something.
Okay.
So yeah, just because a team makes top 8 though doesn't mean all players are top 8.
Sure, but if they make top 8 twice over the span of half a year, I
That
think
means
that's
that you got some
worth
really
something.
great players on the team.
Exactly.
That doesn't mean all of them are top 24 though.
It does mean all of them are top 24.
Interesting.
Yeah, still though, Com 17, Drafinho not on the list is madness. That's a crazy range. I don't understand.
I personally think Firstkiller at 15 is disgusting. It's
Yeah, thank
disrespectful.
you. But I don't know why though. Everybody gets on me.
Nah, he's gonna put him at 14, bro. He's gonna put him at 14.
He's at
You can't
14,
keep getting away with this. You can't keep getting away with this.
Listen. I think we all have high expectations of FK. I think he had a pretty good. He had an okay. I mean, he's 14. He had an okay event. He's above Monkey Mood, number 10 in stats. But if you deep dive, if you really look at where he's getting his numbers from, I mean, Team Power Series, come on. They scored about 18 goals a game. Seriously. It was StatPad 101. He dropped like a 1.3 rating. His goals per game is insane. And then the other series was Oxygen, which was a team that we can all agree underperformed heavily, didn't step up. But the series that mattered, he dropped 0.2 goals per game against Falcons in that quarterfinal. He didn't have a fantastic series, 0.8 rating. First series against Secret, he wasn't crush hot. Vitality series, he was pretty good, but I just think it was like you said, Johnny, it wasn't a spectacular event. It was a tacular event. It's hard to put him in the top 10 when they drop out pretty, they got, don't want to say they got stomped, but the quarterfinal was all Falcons, and FK still was the carry. That's why I've got ApparentlyJack and Chronic down 22-24, but I think the top 4 were pretty clear of the rest. And
also, I'm going to be incredibly surprised if anybody but Bates has Firstkiller above 12, maybe 11, with the names that are above.
Yeah, the top of this list is stacked.
Top
so it's
11
hard,
is like
it's hard to get many other players
like.
in there. It's really hard to get many other players in there, but we'll see. Yeah, Lost at 14. Great shout, Yummy.
Pick.
I mean, honestly,
there, boys.
Perfect for Lost.
We won't mention Juicy at 14.
Yeah, Juicy at 14. That's, maybe a touch low on Juicy there, I would say.
Well, he's got to find room for Firstkiller in the top 5 or something.
You actually think? You think Juicy played better than Firstkiller at this lane?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. Definitely.
I don't even know why I do these. No, come on.
He farmed media.
Take the FK goggles off for a little bit and look at who.
Come on, y'all. Gentlemates is a better team than Gen G, bro. He's got Itachi and Seiko and Juice, so they're all great.
No, but isn't being able to play as a team
They
as
beat
well,
BDS, who are
part of-
also all great, and Juicy farmed them. Juicy absolutely farmed BDS.
Firstkiller farmed everybody he played.
No, he
just can't beat them all.
He didn't. No, he didn't farm them. He didn't destroy. He didn't completely dismantle anyone. Any top tier teams.
And then Gentlemates win a lot better against Falcons, and Juicy look really good.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Gentlemates is a better team.
FK farming Power, Juicy's farming BDS. It's not the same.
Juicy.
How much higher would Juicy have been on your
BDS.
list, Bates, if they won in Game 7 overtime, if there was a 1-goal difference instead of losing to Falcons?
Moves up maybe, I don't know, depends how you play in the grand finals. I wouldn't have moved him, though. I rate him based off of the performance. And unless he balled out in the grand finals, he's not moving much. I thought he was the 3rd best player for Gentlemates at this lane. I think Seiko was having masterclass some of the series. And Itachi, Itachi was doing what he does. So, still, Juicy was good.
What happened to
It
Itachi
wasn't Copenhagen. Oh, I mean, no. Itachi is a tap-in merchant now. He's effective at a tap-in merchant. I was just ahead of my time in that. Tap-in merchant, he's always there to tap it in, baby.
I think he was the 3rd best player in Gentlemates in the event. I think the quarterfinal, you look at, with the goggles on of like, oh my God, he just clipped on BDS for an entire series. But outside of that, I can agree that he was probably the 3rd best. Anyway, I think Lost at 14 is an absolute joke.
Yeah, you can't keep doing that. Why are you copying everybody's lists? One right behind.
I seriously think you guys need to stop with these fraudulent picks.
Do you have any original picks, CJ, at all? Any original picks? What is happening in Baseless meanwhile? Just quietly, what is that?
Okay, time out.
What are
you
you
get
doing?
on me. You get on me, bro.
What are you
get on me,
doing?
bro. And this dude's got atomic at 13, yo. Like, come to me.
What are you doing?
Atomic at 13, man.
TRK at 13? TRK at 13.
No.
No. You need to direct yourself over that.
No, Atomic at 13
No,
does not need to be
TRK at
questioned.
13.
TRK at 13 needs to be questioned. We need to go order
read
reports
it.
here. TRK at 13 is that's a top 5 all-time
TRK
worst pick from T-Bates.
TRK was the third best player on Falcons this whole entire land.
I
It's not
disagree.
question.
I disagree.
Yo.
Big disagree.
Okay, what's your list? I think that TRK had big moments. The dunk was a big moment. I know that's like in everybody's mind when he dunks Seiko. All of a sudden he gets elevated. Okay, he dunks Seiko and everything. Oh my gosh, he dunked Seiko. Game 7, he clutched up. Yeah, but he's the third best player on Falcons now. Let's pump the brakes here. Let's pump the brakes here a little bit now. And if you want to argue that all three of them need to be in the top 10, that's an asinine take. Because that makes no sense. That makes no sense. There's no way all three of Falcons are all in the top 10. It's simply not possible.
How?
If they're all in the top 10, they should have won.
What?
Why? Why do they need to be? Why do they need to win to be in the top 10?
Because you're saying that they all played on average better than
Yeah, but
everybody
what
else.
if the other team averagely played better?
Their
They're
run they
higher
had.
ranked.
Look at who they played. T-Bates. Look at who they played.
All top 3.
No, look at who Falcons played. They played Space Station, BDS, G2, and Swiss. Beat them all. All those teams made top 8. And then in the bracket, they destroyed Gen G. They took down Gentlemates in one of the greatest series of all time, defending major champions. And then they lost to G2 in the final. They had probably the most stacked run of 6 matches any team has ever had in RLCS history, and they won 5 of them. So
They did.
You can easily argue Falcons and G2 had an equivalently good LAN, even though G2 won the grand final. Because of Falcons going through such a hard bracket 3-0.
Oh gosh! Now we're equivalent. Now we're equivalent.
We're talking about player performance here. You can't just go, but this team won the grand final directly.
What he means is like
them.
if you look at the resume of teams that Falcons played against and the teams that G2 played against and the wins and the losses, Falcons' resume is better. But G2 did it in the right order. So if you want to look at who had the more successful LAN, obviously G2, they won it.
What your resume is? Who came out on top?
Why would you not care about the resume? The resume obviously matters.
Wait. Let me jump in front of it. What logic are we using for this argument here today, Bates? Are we using the placement argument or are we using the argument that has to do with individual player performance? I just want to make sure I know which Bates I'm
talking about individual player performance, yeah.
Okay, so why does whoever won the tournament matter?
Why does whoever won the tournament matter? Listen, because if you won the tournament, that means you individually performed. At least somebody on your team did. And they ain't win the tournament. And so, regardless, yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, exactly.
But you don't your whole team on average doesn't have to be higher then, if you're saying.
Oh, yeah, your whole team average does not have to be high if you win the tournament. You're correct about that.
Okay.
But you do know the resume. You can't just
be on average higher.
You can't just say that the resume doesn't matter though, because if G2 go to Worlds and they have like the sickest resume all the way to the final and then get smashed in another Worlds final because they get nervous, like that's still overall a really impressive run.
You know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say about G2, you did get the job done.
It doesn't matter in terms of trophies, but like
nobody's saying give them a best resume trophy. Nobody's saying that. Everybody's just saying that the results they had were was the most stacked run of 5 teams in a row, the most stacked run to the grand final any team's ever had.
With TRK being 13 though, just because they had a hard run, that means that they all deserve to be a top 10.
No, I mean he was
let's go to an extreme example for you and for the people in chat who say it's a bad take. If G2 went and beat Mobular Chiefs, Gaming Gladiators, OG, and Twisted Minds to make it to the grand final, and then beat Falcons, you're not going to be able to judge that as well as a team that takes down every other top team.
What do you need? I'm just going to use the transitive pop.
You're going to have the difficulty of your opponent determines how well you played or can show that you played better.
It's like the strength of schedule. If you look at G2's, if anyone is looking at G2's, tournament and you're trying to establish how impressive of a run it was, how impressive of a tournament any of the players in G2 had, and the first thing you do is you pull up like G2 versus Gaming Gladiators, you're wasting your time. You should skip that. You skip G2 versus Power. Okay, G2 versus Falcons round 3. Now that's a series we can actually take something from. Because it doesn't matter how they're going against the lower rated teams. It really doesn't. That's just a free win for a team like G2. Okay, and looking at how they did again in that match, it's irrelevant. Like G2's tournament started in round 3 of Swiss. Really, that's where their tournament started.
Okay, that's fine. What's that got to do with TRK at 13?
Well, no, because you said that you can't put all the Falcons in top 10, and I'm saying yes, you can, because they all had a great tournament. They had one of the most stacked runs of all time. And to go through that list of teams that they beat to make the final, you need to all be playing well, and they did all play well.
I just feel like if you got 3 in the top 10, you won the tournament.
No, if you got 3 in the top 3, you won the tournament. I think you could have 3 in the top 5 and still lose the tournament. It's possible.
No,
if the other team who beat you had 1
we've
or 2.
done that before. Had like both the top 2 teams all in the top 10.
All in the top 10. Yeah, I've definitely had all of the finalists in top 10.
The last London, we definitely did that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We've not done a post one in a while, but I think it's very common to have both of the grand finalist teams all in the top 10. Yeah, if like let's say your team is 3, 4, and 5, and then the other team has 1, 2, 6, you lost. You know, you could definitely have the 2 grand finalists.
This would make more sense, Bates. But last London, you had 3 of BDS predicted before the LAN in your top 5, but you had G2
4.
Still winning.
Yeah,
because you had G2 in like 1.
That's true.
8 or something.
Yeah, I was trolling. I won the story.
Oh, he was trolling.
For the first time.
I said it before you even said it. I know exactly what you're talking about. I had BDS, Monkey Moon, Seiko extra, right? Because I just wanted to have them all up there. So when G2 whooped them in the grand final, when the group whooped them in the grand final, everybody be like, "Oh wow!" So I could throw the narrative back. That didn't work out for me because they didn't get eliminated early.
It's not to derail this even further. I don't want to add to the pylon, but Bananahead just messaged me, "Hey, just tuned in. What the fuck is teammates doing?" You've got him 18.
Don't worry about that. Man, listen. Don't listen to him. Somebody's got to keep his head up.
Talk to B-Head for a sec. Talk to him. Tell him. Tell him.
No. I don't want to talk to him now. I want to talk to him. He's DMing people. DM people. I don't like it. I'll talk to him later. I don't want to talk to him right now. Next round. Well, listen. I mean, he's got Atomic at 13. It's whatever though.
What's wrong about seriously though? What's wrong with Atomic at 13? If
you actually mean to tell me that TRK played better than Atomic at this LAN?
By a mile, by an absolute mile, yes, he did. Yes.
Yep.
Atomic he didn't show up till the last day. First of all, I said G2's tournament started in Red 3 of Swiss. Atomic's tournament started on Championship Sunday. I don't think he was playing before the Championship Sunday. Like, TRK was definitely better than Atomic. No question.
Atomic played really well against Power, I'll tell you that much.
Okay, yeah, he did do well against Power. Fair play to him. But no, like, that's not even I don't even think that's a discussion. I think TRK, I mean, the first time G2 matchup, TRK was completely different level from Atomic. They literally played each other in Swiss. In the grand final, Atomic was obviously better. But you look at the Gentlemate series, I mean, TRK just took over. So I don't think there's really any comparison there.
All right, let's go 12. I'm ready.
Interesting. I can't wait to see these. These are going to be so cute then.
Okay, he's got more. He's got more green.
Wait.
Love that.
That's nice.
Oh.
That's nice. I like that.
What?
I like that right there. Right there. Yep.
How bad were Falcons?
They weren't. Let me
Now,
Oh man! I mean, if you put TRK 13, I thought that the Twins were going to be like 2 and 4 or something to offset it, but nah, their West is 12 somehow. What are you doing? What is going on?
let's see here. My averages all make sense.
my averages. He's going back to the averages.
Oh, the averages all make sense.
He's checking whether he placed the Falcons even in the top 2.
I just can't believe G2 literally won the event. This was the freest list for you ever. You didn't even need to cope. You didn't have to be biased. You could have just put down G2 at the top and everybody else like close to where they were. But somehow you've still messed it up. And I don't know how you've managed to mess it up this badly. We're only halfway through. And it's already terrible.
What you mean? I'm comfortable.
I feel like he's got gentle mates.
Did you forget the rest of Falcons until 12? Did you just go, oh yeah, ROAS, TRK? All right, continuing my list.
No. I didn't forget them. Listen, I just thought they were better players of the LAN. 11 of them.
So,
like I said,
Firstkiller in your mind had a better tournament. Firstkiller in your mind had a better tournament than TRK and ROAS.
Without question. I don't know how many times I gotta say if Chronic and went for the ball,
There's no way you're scapegoating Chronic that hard.
No.
There's no way.
No.
There's no way.
I'll go to Abject too. I'll go to Abject too, respectfully. If Abject could shoot the ball, like I'm telling y'all,
That's
honestly,
unbelievable.
G2, and you go back and watch it, especially that game 5. G2 was getting away with everything. Gen G had him. Abject couldn't make a shot, and then Chronic wouldn't go for the ball, and that was the consistent. And you watch him against Falcons, it's all FK. It's all FK, man. Like, you need Abject and Chronic to step up. You need
He had a point. He dropped
Was it all FK? I don't think it was all FK. I don't think any of them played well.
0.2 goals per game.
I think versus Falcons.
Point eight rating.
I mean, listen, it's going to take a team effort in order to score.
He
against
was the
Falcons.
best player on that team, but they all
by far.
underperformed.
By far, he was the best player, yeah. Chronic needs to control the ball. Abject needed to get more demos. He need to be more assertive, I think, in that series.
But I still think you can't rate someone like, but just imagine if he won. Just
imagine if he won. I'm imagining based on what I saw on the field. Impact. Firstkiller was impactful every single series he played. Truly so impactful that I think he played. First off, I don't think it's a question they play better than TRK on a consistent level this land. The fact that y'all have it otherwise is interesting to me. Now, if you want to say about the Rawaz thing, I think I can hear out an argument for Rawaz. I wouldn't agree with it, but I can hear it out. But FK consistently on this land, I think this is one of his better lands. I understand he got top 4 all the way back in Sweden. All the way back in Sweden. But then also he was way better than everybody else back then too. So I think in general, this is generally one of his better lands. I think he was on one the whole entire time. He was creating solo plays. He was setting the pace. He kept going and making you uncomfortable. And his teammates, I really do believe, need to give him more of this land. They need to give him more. They weren't giving it to him. That's why Gen G ended up getting top 8 in the way they did.
Firstkiller, he was an average land for him. It was average. And that shows how good he is, but he didn't play spectacularly. He didn't take over.
Interesting takes.
They didn't have a quality.
You can't say it's one of his better lands, like Firstkiller. I think he'd say that's disrespectful to his other
They had
events,
no series wins against top 8 teams. 0. They lost to Vitality, G2, and Falcons.
Beat a top 8 team.
But he's got Chronic and Jack in his team, and you're
scapegoating
them. No, you're scapegoating them way too hard. They were not terrible. They were they underperformed, but no,
they weren't up to their usual standards.
They weren't up to they might have underperformed, but they weren't disaster classes. You're acting like Firstkiller was out there dominating, and his teammates were all over the place. That's just not what happened. The whole team slightly underperformed, I would say. That's it.
We all agree with you that he was the best player. That's
he was the best player.
14, 20, and these teammates further down, or 12 and further down. But you can't.
You see, I'm a no. See, I just need to see a couple more names because it's interesting. Because y'all are gonna make an asinine argument later. Y'all are gonna make an asinine argument in terms of two players that you're not gonna be able to get away with. I can see.
All right, let's pull it up.
I don't think we are. I don't think I am.
There's definitely not enough space.
I think we get a Daz Firstkiller soon.
Yep.
No.
Zen at 11. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
What are you watching, mate? What are you watching? Those are 1v. I'm not gonna say 1v3. Alpha played pretty decent. I think Radosin was okay.
Radosin was sick.
But that man's LeBron James, bro.
He is. I mean, if
you are right.
The best
you
player
can't have
in the
LeBron
world,
at 11.
Zen is obviously top 3 at the moment, regardless of land result. But they ended up falling too far short in the quarterfinals. This
That's
is a
not because of him. I'll tell you that much. It ain't because of him.
That's true.
That man had the pride of France on his back, and he still had the wherewithal to lift up the crowd while Radosin was suffering. He couldn't talk, he couldn't speak, he couldn't think. Zen was trying to manage him. He was trying to be Dr. Zen. He had to be Professor Zen on the field. He had to be LeBron James on the field, and he had to put the horn.
And that's why he's so much higher than his teammates.
There's no way. Also, what happened? You had Boyan on your committee, and you've got Zen at 11. Where on earth did Stumpy put Zen in order for him to end up at 11 on your list? What's going on over here?
Stumpy, Yumi. Zen at 11, and Boyan at 9. This is a tied for 10th place.
You put 13.
No.
Where'd you put Zen?
I put him at 10.
It's on average.
This is a tied for 10th
so
place.
On average,
it's average.
Okay, fair enough. So even 10 though, that's surprising to me. I thought Zen would have been a bit higher for Boyan especially. Zen, and this is probably the worst result any team has ever had at an RLCS LAN, and they still have a player on their team who could be, top 5 MVP vote at the end of the event. He's still in there.
I'll break the veil a little bit. I had the choice of putting Zen lower or the next person above lower because again they're tied. Let's
see who the tied. We need to see the tie.
And I decided
to
do this because it was funnier for a list that included Boyan on it. So
you got him tied with LJ.
After that performance, you got him at 10. This is what I'm saying. It's not going to make sense. It's not going to make sense for y'all. It's not going to end up making sense. You simply can't argue against LJ.
Teams of the land.
Oh my God. Keep going.
I'll say it.
It's going to crumble. It has to crumble.
No, Yumi has crumbled here. Yumi has definitely crumbled in my opinion.
I'll take the NA bias out of it and I'll speak on your behalf, Daz and Bates, but LJ was probably the number one going out of the Swiss. You could maybe argue the second best player, but probably the best player out of Swiss. It's tough to drop him down to 10 after losing to G2 because he had probably one of the best LAN performances anyone's ever seen.
As I said, it's got y'all lists have to crumble. They have to crumble. Because
not gonna happen.
Logic of
having said that, I've got him at 9.
It's gonna crumble. Everybody's list is gonna crumble. Keep going.
Nah, just simply not happening. It's a flawless
again,
list.
10. You have to remember, like, it looks a long way away now, but from 12 onwards is pretty. It's pretty.
Let's see the rest of the Titans. CJ snuck in an Atomic at 11 there as well. I just think that's crazy to put Atomic at 11. Absolutely insane. I cannot believe you'd put him at 11. Because anything below 10 for Atomic is just disrespectful. You've got to have him at a minimum top 10 for the worst player in G2.
I think he's probably hard if you just look at the grand final. Unreal. Like if you're just looking at that before, and I think you could probably put him higher, honestly, but over the course of the tournament, I'd say he was the third best on G2. But in terms of the grand final, he had a fantastic series.
He
Oski
did.
10.
Atomic had a good last day. The rest of the tournament wasn't up to par. Oski at 10. Hey, listen now. That's...
Oh, no, okay, hang on.
That's very, very high.
Can a person that... How? They didn't make it out? No.
All right.
What series did you watch,
I'm gonna ask y'all simple questions.
Okay.
Who was the best player in Oxygen?
Well, Oski, obviously. Nobody's arguing that.
He's the only one on our list.
Did you see that? Do you remember seeing Joyo play Rocket League at the LAN? I'll tell you this. I can't. I didn't remember. I don't remember. I don't even know if he was out there. Matter of fact, actually, when I go check the stats, go down here. Joyo is the lowest.
We're looking at the stats now.
Game.
Okay.
Points per game. No. Okay, it matters when you're all at the bottom. It matters when you're all at the bottom.
Okay. I'll remember
all the way at the bottom here at 277.38. He's got a 17% shooting percentage. You want to know what Archie's shooting percentage was? 11.
Horrible.
Archie's shooting percentage was 11. He couldn't buy a bucket. He couldn't do anything. And I love my boy Archie, but he was non-existent. And it was hurting my soul. I love him too much. Joyo, I love him too. They could do nothing. That was the Oski show. If they had showed up even a semblance of what they gave him online, they would have easily made top 8. And then you don't know what would happen there. Oski was by far the best player in their team. And without him, I honestly think they might honestly get 0-3'd. The way Joy and Archie were playing. Like, it was just that poor from him. It was that poor, bro. Like, Oski was just sensational. Too dominant.
I mean, but if he's that good, if he's 10th, if he's top 10, then he 1v3's power. He just does. Like, I don't think he almost did. No, he didn't. They lost 1v. I think Bananahead was better. Like, he wasn't even the best player on the pitch. Bananahead was the best player on the pitch. No, but you're telling me he was like incredible, outstanding, and he was their best player by a mile. I do agree. That's why he's the only Oxygen player on my list. But Bananahead was a better player on the pitch in the Power Oxygen series versus Gen G. Really, Oski didn't have like an incredible series there. I mean, he was maybe the best player there, but he wasn't like by a mile. I think by that part of the tournament, they were all just kind of not playing that well. I don't know. I just think yes, Oski was by far their best overall, but yeah, if he's 10th, he's done more. They've done better. They've made top 8 if he's 10th. They're going to win some other series against someone. It's just way too high.
Two teammates I played any bit better. You can make an argument that Joyo and Archie, for as great as they are, they might have been in the top in the bottom 8. They might have been 40 and under for this tournament. You can make that argument, and I wouldn't even be mad at you for it.
Nah, I don't. I mean, it's just
It's a long way
high.
up.
I mean, you're really going for the solo carry meta. Like, we're just going to see a bunch of like one-off players, and their teammates are just nowhere to be seen. I mean, you keep saying Rocket League's a team game, but I think you're treating Rocket League like basketball. You think it's just superstars. You know, it's like this is the superstar, and the rest of the team are just role players. Like that's how you're looking at Rocket League now, and that's
That's
not.
how Rocket League works.
It is not how Rocket League works at all. It just isn't.
You don't think so?
No, not at all.
A superstar or a role player?
No, I don't think that you have a role. You can't have role players in Rocket League.
You
There's
got
no
role
such
players
thing.
in this.
No, you
you
can't.
got
No, you can't ever. No, there are no role players that are making like top fours at LAN. There are none. There are superstars and there's like stars. That's it. If you're top four at LAN, no role players. You think Radosin is a role player? Come on.
Yeah. But now it is. If Radosin wasn't on Vitality, who's picking him up? Name it for me. Give it to me. Who's gonna be running to
Honestly,
get him?
any of the
Nobody.
French teams would probably
They ain't gonna
look
run
at
to get
him.
bro.
Any of them.
Respectfully for him. No. They ain't
Any
gonna
of
run to
them.
get him. They ain't gonna run to get him.
No, they would. They definitely would. Radosin, like the whole like Radosin job security Radosin memes, they're overblown. He's still easily a top,
Radosin
8
is
player in
invaluable
France.
to his team. He knows how to play with Zen. Zen loves him. Radosin fills his role. Radosin makes it easy for Zen. And it works that way. Now, if you're gonna act like if Radosin wins the free agency, people are gonna be running to get him. I just don't agree with that.
Yeah, I think KC would look at him after the end of the season they've had. They'd definitely take a look at Radosin. I think BDS with their shaky performances recently would definitely consider him. They'd be like looking at Radosin thinking, maybe
Can't
we
be
need to
serious.
think about this guy because
You think
he's
Vati's actually gonna pick Radosin?
what?
You think Vati would actually pick up Radosin?
Yeah, I think I can see that. Who else are they going to go for if they decide to kick someone? If they kick one of their players, who else would they go for?
There's got to be a young French player coming through, surely.
Not really. There's not like a current there's not the next Seiko or Zen yet. There could be soon, but not right now.
Vatira would not team with Radosin. I just know that to be fact. I don't know it to be fact because I haven't talked to him about it, so I take that back. My apologies. That's a lie. I just have a very good suspicion that he would not.
I think Radosin. I think the vast majority of the Rocket League community underestimates how respected Radosin is in the French Rocket League community, and how much praise Vitality gave him for their role or for their run. It wasn't just the Zen alpha show.
He's like
When
Draymond Green.
Oh,
You watch basketball.
I don't think that's a fair comparison.
the facilitator.
I have no idea if that how accurate that take is. I have absolutely no
Green's an
idea.
all-star who's elevated because he plays with Steph Curry. Radosin is an all-star who's elevated because he plays with the best player in the game.
I'll have to defer to Dazzer, maybe someone else on this one. I have no idea the validity of this comparison.
I feel like it's not the worst, but also Radosin has had series where he's carried, and I don't think
Draymond Green would have been MVP of the 2016 finals if the Warriors hadn't thrown a 3-1 lead. Radosin should have been. You could argue Radosin could have been MVP of last year's finals. That's
Again,
good. He's a good player.
Okay, that doesn't sound like I don't know.
Honestly,
Doesn't sound
like
like
even if
Radosin.
you use Draymond as an example, if Draymond was a free agent, teams would definitely rush to pick him up
Not
because
right
he
now.
knows the game.
Nah, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't say they would pick him up. I said they would definitely take a serious look, consider him.
Want to pick him up though. I mean, they might consider him. Sure.
I think literally the best teams, apart from I don't think that if one of the big EU teams wins Worlds, I don't think they're making a change. But I think the other three teams will probably make a change. And if Radosin gets benched, I think they would all give him a tryout. They'd all seriously consider him. Definitely,
Interesting.
that's what I would say. Because I think he's underestimated. He's underestimated.
Right, well,
Well,
let's
let's
move on. And I got to say, Johnny, Atomic at 10, just way
Trash.
too low, man.
Yeah, it's a trash
Just
pick. Should be
the
11. I
worst
agree.
pick.
And
Is
I
anybody?
feel like this is the most in sync these lists have been. I say that.
I mean,
There's
it's
a couple
after
of
the
outliers.
event, so
Sort of.
you'd think so because it's after the event. We've seen the results,
That's
so it should be. Except for T-Bate's list, we're all kind of in sync at times. We've synergized on Drafinho across the board. Apparently, Jack was pretty close. I think there is definitely.
Now I
synergy.
look at this at number 9 and I'm like, everybody's way too low. But that's I feel like where it gets to in the 4 to 9 range in this list is it's just like there was some really good.
This is a stacked row, by the way. This row is stacked five
Massively
different names,
stacked.
and this is a stacked row. I want to hear what
Now-
T-Bates thinks about Daniel at 9.
Daniel at 9.
I want to hear the thought. I just want T-Bates and CJ to talk about that.
Oh, and you have Atomic at 11. Wow.
I mean, he's got beast mode 1. He's gonna say beast mode, which is utterly unbelievable. That's why he didn't win the land. Maybe I was on the cast. That's what he's gonna say. Like, I already know what he's gonna say. Like, he's just gonna act like it was all the beast mode show. I mean, it was a lot of beast mode, but listen, it takes a full squad to get the job done. So, I mean, him having Daniel at 9 is okay. I can see why Daniel's at 9. I'm not like mad at it.
Okay.
I don't think Daniel had like the most electric performance. I think he was just solid. He was solid, just held down the back line, made plays. He was great on defense, and he was solid everywhere else. I mean, he did what the team wanted him to do. So, I mean, I'm not really mad at that.
Thank you.
Am I
he said
smelling
it
a Daniel
perfectly.
at 8 for T-Bates?
He said it
Wait.
perfectly.
I don't know. He's somewhere around there. I don't remember where Zach got put him. He might be.
smelling a
You
Daniel
want to
at 8?
reveal it? I think he might be at 8. I think he actually might be at 8.
Oh my
say
god,
it.
Daniel's at 8.
Oh
So it makes
my
sense.
goodness! Thank you. But see, I knew you were on the same page. I knew that somewhere in the madness of your brain there was parity with myself. And you know what? Let's agree, Bates. There were some series that Beast Mode said, "Strap on, boys. Hop on the backpack. Hop on the sack, and let's get in here."
Dang, damn
I mean,
it. 8?
I mean, he was balling offensively.
He was
but
hard
still got-
carrying a lot. A fair few.
No,
He was
See, that's
hard
what I'm saying,
carrying.
and that's why y'all don't appreciate Atomic's game. And that's why I just like look at it, I'm just like mind blown. Beast Mode cannot do what he does, one, without both his teammates. Because listen, Beast Mode's a sniper, right? He's a striker. He plays offense and he's playing offense. He's gonna come back and play defense too. But he's playing offense. That's why he's electric. You gotta have a person like Atomic who's willing to play with low boost, get him the ball. Disrupting midfield, getting the ball. You gotta have a person like Daniel who's okay just sitting back there, playing a little more passive than he normally would, normally can. That's what elevates Beast Mode to the point. It's a whole entire team unit. That's why I say they're the perfect team, because they have 3 players whose natural tendencies are to play those 3 ways. Beast Mode score, Atomic facilitate, Daniel third man. That's why I say the perfect team. The natural tendency. You could coach to their tendency. So I mean, I wouldn't say Beast Mode ever just said, "Here, I'll bring it to the promised land." But I mean,
No, I agree. You still got to have a good team. You got to have good structure, good system as well. I think for this ranking, for me, I just went with a bit more, less team oriented. Like you can put G2, 1, 2, and 3 because they won the event, or you can put some
you don't do
players
that.
that
They're
maybe,
1, 2, 3. They shouldn't have lost the Falcons. They would have been clean. It would have been clean.
yeah, you can put. I put some players that I felt were hard carrying their teams and still performed pretty well as overall. We'll see how it comes together. People call me crazy. You can see, you guys can put your G2 at 1, 2, and 3 in chat if you want, but I want to pick some players that stood out amongst their team.
I like that.
Let's see
Yeah,
the rest of
nine.
I can't believe we've agreed to this.
I can't believe it. Let's see the rest of the 8s here. Let's get some more names on the board. See what we're looking at.
See, I think this is my worst pick on the list. Even though I said that
Why?
everyone
I
5
think
through
it's-
9 can be good,
I mean,
because
it's
I
pretty-
felt
I think it's-
pretty bad.
Yan was so much better, but yeah. Well, not
He
so
was.
much better, but.
He was so much better than that. You're right.
But I will say,
thought-
I will point out, Stumpy put him very much lower.
Oh, I don't think. Yeah, sure. Jan was he was very good, but I mean the performances 3-2 Swiss, and then beating Vitality with Radosin, heavily nerfed, and losing to G2 in a pretty respectable semi-final. Which
You can see with my list as well that the it's a big compression on a top 4 team on Furia. Team effort, I guess, compared to a lot of other teams that maybe.
I don't think Jan hard carried like T-Bates is about to tell us he did, looking at the absence of Drafinho and lost 25.
yeah.
I mean, that is just not what happened with Furia's
Lost
lad.
was practically
It
not on the
isn't.
pitch, and Droofy was not even in the stadium.
This is just KBM disrespect, honestly, like not to put Drafinho in, but Jan was their best player, but I don't think there was a huge gulf the likes of which we're about to see with T-Bates placement of Jan. Same thing with like FK. I think they were the best players, but they didn't carry to that degree. It wasn't like this isn't Jan the last. Did you watch the wrong tape, Bates? Were you watching Jan from London 2.0 instead of 3.0? Because London 2.0 he was carrying like that, but this time around no, he wasn't.
Oh, he was just masterclass the whole time.
Well, last London he gave Yan no credit whatsoever
For the actual 1v3.
Yeah.
No, this is masterclass. This is a great performance by him.
It was a great performance, but I mean, it wasn't like a complete gulf between him and his teammates. I don't think. I don't think that was what happened with Furia personally.
I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. I just feel like Lost and Rafinha are really getting elevated because they're playing with a really spectacular player.
Yeah, but I think that's a super team across the board. Like the whole, the whole squad are getting elevated because they're playing with each other.
A super team?
Are we pretending like we didn't know before they were on their own individual teams how well they were doing?
Maybe like in terms of like coming from their region, they're a super team, sure. But in terms of the world, they are not a super team. Let's not get that confused.
I mean, if Fury aren't a super team, then I don't think anybody's a super team. That's definitely a super team for sure. Because you got like players who have all done enough to be a super team.
It's represented for their region. Like you want to say they're Sam, quote unquote, super team because they're the best players from their region. Sure. They're not a super team, though. The super team, I mean, they'd all be like top 10, top 15 players in the world, which they are all not. I can tell you that right now.
That's a pretty close. I mean, maybe not on every day, but they're. I'd say they're all probably top 20 players in the world. Maybe not top 15, but they're all top 20. I think at times this season, Fury have definitely all been top 15. There have been times, but yeah, they've just not had the consistent LAN performances to really show it.
Literally,
I think if you want Furia to win a LAN, Lost needs to be at the very top, at least based on his regional performances. Lost was so good in Sam.
Kind of the guy.
So if he can be the guy on LAN again, because he has been in the past for the club and stuff.
Time out. Because here's how I bust your top 20 comment you said. So who exactly on Carbine Corp is Lost better than?
For right now or the whole season? Where are we talking about? Just current?
Now.
Rise. Definitely Rise. Rise has not been playing as well as he should. He would tell you the same thing. He said very lackluster performances. And I would say Lost is probably...
You tell me going to a LAN, you're going to choose Lost over Rise?
This one? Yes.
Right now.
I mean, it's all very dependent on the team. They're super different players. But... yes, Lost over Rise for sure. Going into LAN and player ranking, yeah.
I don't know who. Listen, you can pick your team. You take Lost. I'm taking Finley every day. Like it's not even a question.
Like I said, they're very different types of players. So that really would depend on the team because there's some teams that would do better with a player like Rise, and I think most teams would do better with a player like Lost. I would say he is a more defensive kind of holding midfielder kind of player now, whereas Rise is front man. Air double bump, chaos. So Lost is definitely you got to rank him higher than Rise right now. Come on, Rise is not. The KC have been all over the place in EU.
Interesting.
Tomato. Let's get into 7.
Let's do it. Yeah, Jan at 7 there. Yummy is just
so smart. Yeah.
I was gonna say atrocious.
I felt like I had him maybe just a little too low.
You got to have him at least 7, mate. Like 8, just simply not good enough for a player of Jan's caliber. Also, I just realized we've had the full Falcons roster 7th or below.
Ow.
What?
Going into the grand final, they were the best team. I think everybody would agree with that. And then all of a sudden, based on the grand finals, they've fallen from 1st to 5th.
But if you have LJ, which I know you're going to put him, right up there because of his Swiss run, then you also would have to put Khalid just on the Swiss run, like right near with LJ.
Yeah. In Swiss for sure.
The Swiss.
So
the fact that you've put him 7, and I know you've probably put LJ like top 3,
4th or something, 3 even, yeah.
And that doesn't make sense because not only did they have a very similar Swiss run, then Khalid went, and
did a whole lot more.
Actually made the grand final. So,
what's the logic? I'm trying to follow up your logic.
Well, I'm saying that out of the Swiss, there were two clear standouts. It was Khalid and LJ.
That's right.
Yeah. And then I'm saying you put Khalid 7. Oh, sorry, and Zen was obviously he's over.
Yeah.
But then Khalid has gone on and made the grand final. LJ's lost, but now you've clearly put LJ above Khalid. That doesn't make sense to me. because that's where LJ's run ended, and then Khalil's kept going. So at least you'd have them.
I'm confused because then you're rating the team performance. You're holding a person's individual performance, like you're holding a person's team performance, and that elevates their individual performance. Those two, they might correlate, but they don't necessarily correlate.
No,
like,
what I'm saying is, I think
one-to-one.
Individually, I think they were neck and neck out of the Swiss. Do you think you don't?
No. No, because see, and this way it don't make no sense. This is what I'm saying, bro. Y'all view Rocket League so interested in me because y'all walked in thinking Falcons were a top 2 team in the world, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do. Went 3-0. People did not know if SSG was gonna end up getting top 8. They didn't know that.
Yeah, I had them 9th and they finished 8th.
Also,
wow, what a run.
And also, if I go and pull up this caster prediction sheet, y'all probably didn't have them being inferior. And LJ put on a masterclass. A masterclass against Fury. Like, they did the whole entire tournament. If I go this predict, where's the caster prediction sheet at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Give me the caster prediction.
But Base, just because you expect a team to do well,
yes, I thought Fury
and they do well, doesn't make them worse.
But like, yeah, yes, they beat Furia in Swiss, but does that mean LJ like propels to a top like 5 player of the LAN ahead of Khalil's or whoever you think the number 1 player?
With the body of work and what he did.
No, take your pick.
Teammates that he has, the expectations that were set forward, and how he exceeded them exceptionally. He was the best striker at the event by far, without question. That man, listen, you gotta think about it, because they were the only team. SSG was the only team outside of G2 that did something to Falcons. They pushed him to 5. It was the LJ show.
I agree. I think
he was incredible,
fantastic.
but you can't put him over the whole of Falcons. That's crazy to put him over the whole of Falcons. No, I'm just saying, obviously you can. Nobody can stop you from doing that, but I'm saying I'm not saying you can't as in you can't. I'm saying you can't as in it's really, really wrong to do that.
It's not.
It's so wrong.
It's not, though. It's not.
I just don't get the logic, though.
The logic is that he was the best player.
Or the lack thereof,
on
perhaps.
his team.
When they lost the Falcons, he was the best player on the field. When they played Falcons, he was the best player.
Yeah, but they lost the Falcons.
Because the Falcons team is better than SSG.
But you don't think that because you have LJ above the whole team.
But like, okay,
what do you mean?
T-Bits, you
want
to
even one player is better than SSG. That does not mean that Falcons as individuals played better or are better than LJ.
No, T-Bits, this isn't basketball, bro. It's like 3 players on a pitch and they all have to contribute heavily to have any success in a stacked like event like this.
Oh my god! I think the fact that I watch basketball that I understand this better, yo. Because like for example, because this game, as much as I hate bringing it up because people don't watch it because there's so many Europeans or y'all just don't like basketball. Whoever the case.
No,
is.
basketball's cool. It's just too many ads. It's on at like 5 in the morning.
It's 5 on 5 when you're the best player. You can elevate and bring your team somewhere. In 2015, when the Cavs played the Golden State Warriors, LeBron James was by far the best basketball player on the court, and LeBron James lost.
Can I, as
so
someone,
I'm not gonna, and so like if you weren't to re-rank that afterwards, I'm not gonna say, and I love Steph Curry, I'm not gonna say that Steph Curry played better than LeBron. That's an asinine take.
But T-Bits, no one is trying to say that. No one is trying to say that. I mean, first of all, basketball is a terrible comparison to Rocket League in this context because in Rocket League, you can literally send your worst player to tackle the other team's best player. You could just say, just rush him. Doesn't even matter if you get the ball. You force him. No, because you're just going to get cooked. Come on now. You're just going to get cooked.
Somebody who's got some energy to drain and tire out the best player.
Yeah, and he's going to get cooked.
So the best player is not as good.
Come on. Now, basketball doesn't play like Rocket League at all. It's got some similarities, but it's not a close comparison at all.
Well, you've got Firstkiller above the entire Falcons team.
For the same reasons, bro. Like y'all, I don't think y'all are rating individual like how much presence and how much somebody is elevating a team, bro. Like I think I like that's what I'm saying. And that's why I like
It's
doing
just no way that you can put Firstkiller. I understand if it's like just individually you think Firstkiller is a better player than the Falcons players, but just on performance at the event, you just cannot put.
Khalil's is a great offensive player, and his defense is very, very mid. He gives up a lot of goals. He does. You go back and watch the tape. He gives up a lot of goals. His defense is not good. If his defense was better, he'd be higher. He makes a lot of defensive errors that leads to the very few goals they end up conceding.
No, I think the Falcons as a whole, their weakness is definitely defense, but they don't really have to play a lot of defense most of the time because they just pressure everybody. The only series that they couldn't do that was the grand final, and I think we can all see that they were just nervous and couldn't do that in the grand final. But we'll see. Maybe next time they'll be able to produce that style that they like to play under that kind of pressure. But no, you can't just... LJ just doesn't have the resume. You've got to have a balance between individual contribution and the actual resume, because the resume that they put together is very mid for the LAN. It's literally mid. They're right in the middle of all the teams, kind of like the 7th to 9th range. It's exactly where they belong. It's where everybody thought they were going to be, like coming into the LAN, like the team on the outside of Swiss looking in. Then Oxford underperformed. Who's first in the door? Space Station. They got top 8, and they didn't look like they had any chance against G2 for like 7th time in a row this season.
LJ averaged 450 points per game in a 21 game sample, averaged a goal per game, shot 43% from the field.
Okay, first of all, we can forget about shooting percentage. Shooting percentage is the most pointless stat. Get shooting percentage out here. Okay. That is a terrible stat for Rocket League.
Okay, well, listen. Listen, you don't want to talk about shooting percentage. I'll bring up the goals to you. I remember them. The musty top right corner, the reset by 2 against Falcons, the redirect where he came from across the way and slammed underneath the crossbar. CJ, you're on the cast. The double touchdown. Like, I can give you the goals if you want. Because listen, they weren't champions. They were special.
No, he was great, but it's just the resume is not there. It's just the resume is just not good enough. It just simply isn't.
I disagree. I'm actually somewhat in agreement.
LJ was so much better than Clears, actually, that he averaged 90 more points a game than him, and he averaged more goals than him. The man that farmed G2, Clears farmed G2, and LJ still averaged more goals a game.
If you really want to get detailed with this, I told you. I remember we watched the SSG Falcons game together. We were in the cafeteria, and I remember Daz was there as well. Daz and Bates were both really supporting SSG there, of course. And I kept on trying to explain to them that actually it is a masterclass if they lose this game 5, because then they're going to match up with Mobula in the next round, sweep them, and then they're going to get Power in the next round because they're going to lose to G2. That is exactly what happened. LJ stat padded against Mobula and Power, and now he's got tons of stats.
I don't remember any of those series. You know what?
I had that conversation with you when they were in game 5, and it happened. It happened.
None of the goals, and listen, and none of the goals that I mentioned had anything to do with those series.
But you're talking about stats. You're talking about like goals per game. You're talking about points per game. They played Mobula and they played against Power. And I predicted that would happen when they actually before Game 5 even started. I said it would be a masterclass to lose Game 5 here because then they'll play Mobula Power, and that's exactly what happened.
Hold on.
Like you can't talk about points per game and they're playing Power and Mobula. It doesn't matter.
All right, hold on. Let's not give it.
The thing is, T-Base's argument is perfectly reasonable here. LJ can be better than the 3 members of Falcons and still place worse. But
yeah, that's true.
That's also discounting the fact that Falcons are going to come out so much worse than G2 in terms of their average rating at this point in time. He's put the 3 of them so low that I can't see how they managed to get a second place in, as I said, a really, really tough run. In a 3-0 in Swiss.
Yeah, if you want to talk averages, let's just say...
I'm going to say my LJ stats. I'm going to say
such worse players than G2.
Let's just say LJ finishes in like a 6th place, but he could be higher. But even if he's 6th, then he's ahead of Clears, so like SSG's best player is better than Falcon's best player. Ruas Hoxer, 12 to 16. Honestly, not that big of a difference there for the second player. Maybe at this point, SSG are like a little bit behind. TRK, you've got him ranked a fair bit ahead of Chicago, but looking at those averages, I mean, Falcons and SSG had pretty comparable lands, according to your law of averages there, Base. It doesn't look like a big difference when in fact Falcons went 5-0 and then lost the grand final. Space Station went 3-2 in series win-loss. It's just not comparable. You can't be talking about like these two teams as if they had similar kind of events when they clearly didn't.
SSG lost to G2 and Falcons, the 2 teams in the grand final, mate. What are you on about?
Yep. Falcons didn't lose to anyone except the team who won. They also beat 5 teams who made top 8. 5. How many did Space Station beat? 1.
They played
one team. They beat Furia. Falcons beat 5 teams who made top 8. Space Station beat 1. The resumes are just not the same. It's not even close.
I don't know what that has to do with LJ. I don't know what. Don't worry, we keep going on. Like I said, those lists aren't gonna make sense. I'm gonna hold to more stats for LJ until he gets showed up. I don't know
because we don't even need to talk about them yet because he's still not got LJ. He's got Firstkiller. We can save them.
Comm.
Um,
Is Zen at 6?
yeah, look, I got Zen at
Wait a
6.
second. Wait a second. Hold on. I just realized something. Actually, I'm gonna let you go, but I just realized something. This man has all Falcons in the top 6.
Who does? Oh,
On the
Yummy.
right.
Oh wait, I mean
Yeah.
Yummy's list is cooked. We can all agree
yeah.
that. Like, come on.
Yeah,
Okay, Yummy's committee has really dropped the ball here.
They were really good. They were really good. They had a tough run and they did well in it. It was 2 clear top teams.
I was going to say, actually, I want to talk later. I'll save it for later on because I think it makes more sense once you see my whole list. I'll just
Okay.
sit. I'll just sit for now.
I like it.
Yeah, I don't think there's too many questions about this.
FK at 6 is a fantastic event, just quietly. I hopefully,
Yeah, FK
Should be
6, I
proud of
mean.
this event.
hopefully his numbers
Firstkiller.
back it up. No, he's 10th in his stats.
Not 10th in
Um,
stats. He's like 4th.
No, he's 10th.
Oh, you're talking about the octane rating? The nonsense thing that makes no sense?
What are you looking at? Score per game.
He's just looking at score.
It's
Four
like
game
the
is a much
same.
more
you
reliable
can't
It's
look
like
at
this-
score per
it's like the
game.
same, bro.
4 per game and goals per game.
I think Octane rating is just a combination of score per game and goals per game.
Goals per game, FK is 10th. Anyway. More ads? Johnny, jeez, he's making some money off this one.
Johnny, how many ads are you playing? You're playing like
How
one every
many
10
ads?
minutes?
No, there's like 5 minutes an hour, but I think I front loaded them, so there wasn't ads for like a while. And
And
now
now
the
we've got
front
10
loadings
minutes.
ran out, so they're just happening. But at the start of the stream, there wouldn't have been ads for like an hour. Now there are ads because we went
FK,
over an hour.
Roas. Okay. I think this is where we need to get a bit more. Like, this is when we nearly just like
we can
one
go
person each
a few
through
more.
there?
I did
don't
just
know.
want to like drive home again. The like Firstkiller ahead of all the Falcons is equally. I think it's even more
that's-
ridiculous than LJ
yeah,
being ahead of all the
most.
Falcons. I think that's an insane take to have him up there because LJ coming out of Swiss was I think top 3 players in Swiss. Firstkiller was not, and I don't think after Swiss. Like I like what CJ said earlier. You know, my top 3 coming out of Swiss was Kaliers, Zen, and LJ. And then after Swiss ended, Kaliers kept on adding to that, and Firstkiller didn't. So I don't know how he's ended up here. I really don't. I don't know what he did to get up to 6. Personally, he was their best player though. I'll give him that.
It's great on offense, great on defense. A complete player the whole land.
I didn't
Kaliers
see a
is
lot.
not a
I
complete
didn't see
player
a
the
lot
whole
of great offense against Falcons though. When in the quarterfinals, didn't really see that.
It's crazy.
Sorry to say that. I didn't really see it.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay, what we cooking up here? Number 5.
Atomic 5. Khalil's kind of low, Daz.
Oh, that's
I
low.
mean, 5s.
He's got the
Once we
full
get up
Falcons in there.
Yeah, five's respectable enough, but I mean.
Listen.
For Kaliers, but yeah, all of the Falcons boys are they're quite low down there. Who has he got
A
left?
little
Say?
low.
You think they're low? I don't think they're low. 5, 7, and 11. I feel like that's
You
pretty
have
good placement.
Daniel and Atomic 5'9", and you're actually gonna make an argument and put TRK and Clears above him, Yummy. Your list is terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Now let me go to Demar's list. That doesn't make any sense, Yummy. Anyways, yeah. I even look at the averages. The averages. What is that? 6. Even if they're 4-3 and Beast Mode's 1, 4.36. What is that? 4 point something. And then Beast Mode 159. What is that? Yeah, Falcons are gonna be a higher rated team than G2 by your averages, Yummy. Your list is terrible.
Mhm.
And then
But
Clears.
that is possible, based on the line.
No, it's
That's
not
definitely
possible because they got the ass spanked in the grand finals.
No,
it's
it
not
is possible though. I thought you argued for this yourself, Bates. You
Yeah.
literally explained how this can happen.
You
Earlier
would
on.
be the one that's going like, there's one player on the team so much better than everybody else on the team that they can make all the difference. If Beast Mode is 10 times better than somebody else.
No.
then- No.
No, you're saying okay. So what you're saying is Beast Mode really needs to be in a class of his own.
Yeah, I mean, you could say
Okay, if
that.
you want to say that, then maybe I'll give.
Okay, no, wait. So T-Bits, just very quickly. So going into before the grand final started, Falcons versus G2 is just about to kick off. If we were to do a top 25 at that point, would Daniel or Atomic be close to any of the Falcons players?
Yeah,
Why?
Atomic especially. I think Atomic's just always great. He's just a maestro in the midfield. He sets up Beast Mode. He makes it easier for him. He makes plays with a low boost all the time. He always makes sure the ball stays in his team's possession. When Atomic is there, rather than giving the ball away, he's either controlling or he's giving it to Beast Mode. He's giving it to Daniel. He's making sure that the ball stays in G2's possession. That stuff, like, you can't teach that type
But
of stuff.
could you at least agree that going into the final, Falcons at that point would have, on average, been much higher rated than G2? 5-0, wins against all top 8 teams. G2 have beaten like Mobula, Power, SSG. Like, it's not that, nothing surprising at all. They lost to Falcons and Swiss. Like, going into the final, Falcons were miles better. And then G2 did enough in the grand final to, kind of bring it back to kind of like an even overall, I'd say.
Going to the finals, the only thing I saw was Falcons at 3-0 G2. It's the only thing I was rated. And I still didn't believe they could beat them.
I mean, General Mates win.
I mean, nobody's questioning your resolve. No one is doubting that you believe G2 would win.
It's not a lot better. It was just a hype series.
It was at that point G2 had no, it was a better win than G2 beating Furia for sure.
No, it wasn't.
No, it was though. It definitely was. No, it was definitely a better series.
You're talking about in terms of the rankings of the team. Sure, like General Mates is the higher ranked team in the world, but it wasn't like going in like. After watching both series, that's why I was so comfortable in G2. G2 dismantled Furia.
Come on.
It wasn't close.
It was close, first of all.
I mean, I understand it went 4-2.
It was close.
I understand it because G2 wanted to gift them game 1. It could have been a 4-0.
No, G2 won game 1, didn't they? I thought G2 were 2-0. I think G2 were 2-0, then Furia called timeout, came back.
Yeah. They gave them the game 3 when they started pre-jumping. Yeah, that was the game where they own gold, where Beast Mode owned gold.
Listen, T-Bits, I don't, we could talk about, I'm not trying to take away like from that win too much, because I think G2's win over Furia was an impressive win. They rallied after 2-2, called the timeout, they won 2 games in a row, 2-1, 2-1, to win it 4-2. It was a good win. But yeah, Falcons win was, the Falcons Gentleman series definitely did, if you're just, I know you're big on the eye test, anyone with 2 functional eyes could tell you that was a different level of Rocket League between Falcons and G2. Even my friend who came to the event, and it's his first ever Rocket League event, he leaned over to ask me, because we were watching the series together in the crowd, and he said, why is this, the G2 Furia series, why does this series look so much slower? What's going on?
Because G2 was just that much better.
It's because it was sloppy, bro. Like, it was a sloppy series. It was very sloppy.
Okay. This is where I plug the most recent YouTube video on First Touch. Go watch that video. I encourage everybody to watch it. It's like, oh my gosh.
Wait,
my gosh.
That's G2 and Falcons.
I think like G2 did what BDS used to do, where they made it so clean, so clinical. It just looked boring, and now people are trying to discredit them.
It wasn't clinical though. It was a sloppy series, and the tail end of it, G2 were the better team for sure. They deserved the win, and Furia are a very good team. So beating them in any manner at all is a quality win, no matter what happened on the pitch. Just simply looking at the scoreline, quality win. But it was a sloppy series. And that's why going into the grand final, every single person I talked to at the venue, because I was done for the day after the first semi, I walked around the venue talking to a whole bunch of fans. Everybody's saying, yeah, it doesn't matter who wins Furia G2, they're going to get slapped in the final. Because everybody saw what happened in this.
Everybody, and I know you talk to a whole bunch of casuals who don't know ball. They see people. This is why, even when you have the whole entire world against you, I had 80% of chat. Apparently, I had 99% of Copper Box. I had the whole entire desk outside of a couple NA fans, and look who came out right and who came out wrong. All because everybody just so in woe about the Falcons and General Mates. Oh, it's such a good series.
But you don't realize they can both the statements can be true. The Falcons General Mate series can have been a higher level, and then Falcons still lose in the final. It is possible for that to happen. It's happened many times in Rocket League history where a team just chokes in a grand final and doesn't produce the same level of performance.
Nah, but that goes against what Bates is standing for, because he thinks G2 just smoked Falcons. He doesn't think Falcons played
wasn't
bad.
Close.
You think Falcons did?
You don't think Falcons played badly? Really?
You actually think Falcons played bad? See, I'm plugging my video again on the first.
All right, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be back.
Please go watch it.
It's not like you can't argue. You just can't argue like G2 are on a different level because Falcons swept them in the Swiss. So it's clear that like it's how teams are playing on the day.
Okay, did G2 play badly in the Swiss? Is that what happened? G2 were just bad in the Swiss?
I think Falcons played standard and G2 played absolutely ass. I mean, what was the score, like 18-2 or something? It wasn't close.
So Falcons could have played bad in the finals.
They could. If Falcons could have played bad in the finals. The score, if Falcons played like G2 played in the Swiss, I would say, okay, Falcons played bad. I would say that. It wasn't close. Could you expect to? It was still a close. It was still like the score was still tight. G2 still had to work. Falcons didn't have to do anything besides shoot the ball at the net against G2 in that first series, bro. G2 was our source. Falcons punched them in the mouth. That was the first time G2 played somebody quality, and they got absolutely spanked because of it. Falcons came out, they played their game. G2 was nowhere to be found. Falcons took advantage of that.
Come on, you can't be serious. So I've not watched the video. I will watch it because I love your guys' content, but I have to feel like this is bait. This has to be bait. There's no way you think Falcons played well in the final. There's just no way. They didn't play well. It's as simple as that. G2 played their best, like one of their best series, maybe their best series in the final, which is
G2 took it from them.
So
but, I mean, just like mech, like first touches, whiffs, like Roas whiffing
just
saves, stuff
completely
like that.
like giveaway the ball, giving free goals.
CJ, you notice when you're getting out pressured, you don't have time to think. You're getting your boost stolen. People are challenging you at every time. Your touches, they tend to get worse. You tend to start making more mistakes because the other team is forcing the issue.
No,
so
okay,
pause
for a second. You're talking about forced errors, which we all understand the concept of forced mistakes, but that is not what happened in the final. Falcons were just making unforced mistakes, which is probably the majority of the goals they conceded were completely unforced mistakes, where somebody would just make a terrible touch, or in the wise words of, I forget his name, bad rotation, and just give away a goal for free. Like, you can't tell me that most of the goals that G2 scored in the grand final were from forced mistakes. They were just not forced mistakes.
I think that G2 did really well. I think that their pressure does.
Yeah, they played their best series in the entire tournament. They did.
But it wasn't. It was clear Falcons were a little bit, whether they were still coming down or a little bit starstruck. You know, G2, they'd been to the grand final in Copenhagen. They were ready. They were battle hardened, and they rocked up and got the job done. But I just don't think you can say G2 are on another level because they lost to that same team in the tournament as well.
Right now. Let me go get something. 1 sec. Let me go get something. I'm hearing a lot of.
Okay, I'm looking forward to see what this is.
Oh man, this is great.
Right, should we bring up number 4 while he's away?
Yeah, bring up 4, quick.
Bring up 4, see what's happening on number 4, and then we'll come back to T-Bates when he comes back here.
Me, T-Bates. Look, we're on the LJ train. As he's back already.
All right, I'm back. Sorry, I had to go get the coat, the coat paler.
It's all. Oh, forget. So you're doing a bit. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to. So okay, that's really good. But I wanted to say I don't want to completely derail the top 25. But okay, G2 scored 9 goals against Falcons. Is my final question to you, T-Bates. They scored 9 goals against Falcons in the grand final. How many of them, just off the top of your head, just what you remember, do you think were forced errors / outplays? Out of 9. I don't know, by the way. I need to go back and watch, but I'm happy to do that for you after we establish the amount, the number.
The first goal, Rawas had a bad touch. He put it back in the midfield. People were saying, because Rawas, he never does that. Well, it's because Clears had no boost there, had to rotate back fast. Daniel was putting the pressure on the first goal, definitely. I think G2 loses the first game 2-1. They do. The second game, I wouldn't call it a forced error, more so of G2 just scored a great goal. The Daniel fake and then Atomic going in. That was just G2 pressure. Then I think G2 scored again. Atomic top right corner. Nobody from Falcons challenged, but they had no boost or they were low boost. 1 to 2. They couldn't have time to recover for that. I think G2. I can't remember if G2 scored again in that game. But I think it was 2-0. I think that was 2-0. And then game 3, it was the 1-1 with the beast carry over the top. That was Falcons' best game of the series. That was the game where I actually thought that Falcons, towards the back half, about back minute or 30 seconds, actually played better than G2. They threw it away though at 0 seconds. If they won that game, the series might have been completely different. That's why I don't get this copium about they were playing back, because they were actually,
you know what we need?
Like they were picking up. And then game 4,
we need like the Daz Bates commentary, but it's the analysis segment. Is Johnny and Bates
analyzing the same
that's
actually good. That's actually good.
The reason why this occurred is because of G2's pressure.
That's
and then Johnny
really
being
good.
like, he had 100 boosts.
Wait, that's a great bit.
I would love to see the contrasting, like a YouTube video.
Oh, we should do that at Worlds.
Let me know so I can make like a meal. We're going to need a lot of time allotted for that.
So you can see here, like the pressure from G2, Johnny will be like, so you can see here, he had 100 boosts. And
that's really good. I like that.
They just go back and forth with the...
Write that down.
Clearly.
That's content. Okay, Bates, what's the number out of 9? How many outplays / forced errors? Because we can definitely, everybody can tell the difference. Just like what
Taking
a
boost,
forced
make them
mistake
slow.
/ an outplay / extended pressure. Any kind of like forced goal / unforced error. That is a mistake. What would the ratio be out of the 9 goals? I think this is the crux of it. Is all the Falcons fans are saying Falcons
3.
underperformed, they messed up.
I don't
G2
think
are saying
G2
unstoppable offense. Nobody can
Scored 4.
play against this.
Did you score 9 goals?
G2 scored 9 goals.
Where were these 9 goals?
Well, 3 of them are in Game 5 when it was kind of,
They scored 6 prior to that?
Yeah, they scored 1, 2, 2, 1, 3 in 5 games.
1, 2,
1, 2, 2, 1, and 3.
1, 3. Okay, yeah, I guess so. So, yeah, Game 4, they scored 1 goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was G2 pressure. That one was clinical G2
Interesting.
pressure.
Okay.
And then Game 5, Atomic came off the side, immediately, I think at the 440 mark, checked the top left. That was just great offense. The second goal, G2 had the pressure. Beast Mode came back and bumped Rawaz when he tried to slow it down. And Beast Mode said, you don't have time to slow it down. That was a G2 pressure. And then the other one was, I guess Falcons started throwing everything in the kitchen sink at him, and after that, Beast Mode double touch, game over. So yeah, I'll say about 6 of the 9, I think.
You got 6 outplay. Well, you got 3 unforced errors. Okay, that's all I need. That was a high effort answer. I appreciate you taking the time
I
to
had
do
to
that.
I had to go back and rethink about the goal.
Yeah. Okay. That's all. That's 3 out of 9. Okay. That's all we need.
What do we got?
Do we do? Okay, we'll do 3 across the board, and then we can do 2.
I was going to say maybe we do number 1 because I feel like surely we all have the same number 1, right?
Yeah,
I think so. I don't mind that. That's a bit different. I don't mind that. Sure, I think we will. Does anyone think we won't have the same number 1?
I thought about saying this at the very
should.
start because it would be crazy if anybody didn't have the same number 1.
Already got the 4. Can we get the 5?
There was one player in a class of their own here.
Yeah, look at the synergy by the boys. We know.
It's the clearest,
We know
clearest
ball.
MVP since Zen. Oh, actually, I say since it was since
It was
Worlds,
like-
I guess, since Zen got it. But,
Yeah, the most recent one.
but it was very obvious. The entire event, he dominated.
Yeah, you couldn't make a bad
He
touch.
dominated.
Atomic and Daniel were looking a bit shaky, but even I should say when Atomic and Daniel looked shaky, Beast Mode was still flawless. And then when Atomic and Daniel were playing well, Beast Mode was still the best player on the pitch. So yeah, he was the easy MVP for me. He was the MVP since the start. I think he could have even had a subpar grand final, and he still would have been MVP of the tournament, assuming they win in the grand final. Didn't matter how hard Daniel or Atomic carried that final, Beast Mode would still be MVP. He was that clear for me.
Yep. Well deserved as well. Thoroughly deserved. Should we do 2
And his name is literally Landon. So, I mean, it's
And his name's
just
Landon.
incredible.
Named Landon, that made it that much better.
It's just incredible.
Yeah, me and CJ both predicted him for London 2.0
You did. It's just
to be the number 1, and then we
went
didn't do
early.
it for this time. Yeah, we went early.
Right, shall we do 2 and 3 together for one person? Who wants to go first on this? I don't mind going first, honestly.
Yeah,
I'll go
for
first.
Go down the line.
I actually
teammates
forgot what it
last,
was.
maybe.
There we go.
Nice.
This is something I'm very, very,
Okay.
very big on. Is I think TRK was the best player in Falcons, which is seemingly not unanimous. Yeah, we got a couple of clears. I've got TRK number 2. I thought he was the best player in Falcons. I thought they were all kind of comparable going into the Gentlemate series, but he completely took over. Gentlemate series, he was not losing that. That's for me what put him above.
Yeah, look,
Stumpy agreed
Khalees
with
was
you.
quiet. Khalees was quiet in the semi, but I think outside of that, he was with LJ out of the Swiss, so that's why I still put him up there. I think what he did in the Swiss, he was far above.
Oh yeah, Clears in Swiss, yeah. But yeah, I mean,
I
bracket
think
play,
that-
TRK, like for me, yeah, Clears was ahead of them, but then TRK in the bracket, like, just he elevated. That's why I put him number 2. Also, Itachi, that was a masterclass land from Itachi. If they make that grand final, oh my goodness, he had a performance and a half. Itachi he is just an incredible player. Maybe somehow still underrated, even though he won the last LAN and just went out in Game 7 in the semis. This one. That's my top 3. Who wants to go next?
Just go down the
Go.
line.
Okay.
T-Bits?
Zen
players.
and
Three best
Zen
players of the
2.
land.
LJ3.
Okay.
Really,
Zen
my
2.
list. Three best. Really, in my list, the 4 best players in the land. It was so easy. 4 was so easy for me. It was Beast Mode, Zen, LJ, Jan. I knew this immediately, off the top of my head. Quick, fast, in a hurry. No thought. You know me, but no thought. Like those are the best 4 players. And I went back and looked at it after I made my list. Like, yep, that's correct.
I just reminded me Itachi's 9.
The best players of the land.
Yeah, you do have Itachi 9, bro. Just
Yeah,
quietly.
what about it?
Itachi
quiet.
just played one of the all-time greatest lands that in the open era, in Rocket League, like wherever you want to call it. Itachi is just unbelievable. To have him at 9 is, I think, just way too low. I mean, usually top 10 is like just a stacked. I mean, top 10 is stacked, but Itachi 9 is crazy to me.
Okay, and then LJ played better than Itachi. And
No,
Zen played better
please.
than Itachi.
Okay, Zen, again, it depending on how much you want to put on the Radosin, sickness. There's a big range. I'll say Zen's got a big range because of Radosin being sick in the quarterfinal. I'll give you Zen having a big range, but I would still say Itachi. Like Itachi, I think just played an all-time great LAN. I thought he was incredible. I think you got to put him up there.
I mean, that's raised in the top 10.
Top 10 is not all-time great though. Like 9th.
I don't think he had an all-time great land.
I'm just saying that's my dream team coming out of LAN, Beast Mode, TRK, Itachi. That's kind of what a top 3 should be. That's like your dream team coming out of LAN. If you've got to put a squad together, give me Beast Mode, Itachi, TRK. That would work out pretty well, I reckon.
Interesting.
That is interesting.
Interesting, because I think a lot of people would say TRK was not the best on Falcon, so it's interesting you got him up there.
You can switch Kalir's in for TRK as well. They both work just fine, but I mean, it was just that semi-final performance for me.
Top
just
3 versus
bumped him
your
up.
top 3. I actually like my top 3 is actually going to annihilate yours. Yeah, it's not going to be close actually.
Pull them up.
Your top three is just the most passive top 3 versus mine. You're not getting out your half, bro. You're not getting out your half. Sorry, you're just gonna live in defense. Your top 3 is just gonna live in defense.
Top 3.
Yeah.
I went Itachi 2. I thought I had Khalid at 2 outside of the semi. I just think the semi-final he really dropped down. He wasn't really there. TRK and Rawas stepped up there, so dropped him down to 3. I kind of had at 3, 4, 5, 6, or maybe 4, 5, 6 is kind of like my carries. I think LJ, he was number 1 at the event coming out of the Swiss, drops down because he then didn't really go any further, so we didn't get much value out of that. He was okay in the G2 series, still played pretty well. Yan, phenomenal player. He was individual solo carries then right there as well, but his road ended at the quarterfinal. Can't put him too high. I thought Itachi over the event, probably the most consistent player with beast mode. So a deserved 1 and 2. I like putting there. I think Khalid drops down just because of that semi-final. The final, like they weren't fantastic either, but I thought he kind of dropped off towards the end of the tournament.
I like the Itachi too. Not gonna lie, I respect that.
Pull it up, JB.
Pull it up. Let's have a look what he's got.
Let's put Dan at 2 and Zen at 3.
Dan
Now
makes
listen,
No sense.
that makes a great amount of
Get that
sense.
out
So
of here.
for me, I think obviously the baseline that I established was, of course, that top 8 performance as like the baseline. But also in terms of individual performance, I think for me the biggest thing is, and I've done this plenty of times in the past on my list as well, where it's just like you can have individuals who are superstars on players, but then you have people who create those spaces and who give people those opportunities in order to be able to shine. And I think Daniel did that perfectly. Daniel was super locked in terms of the entire event. I didn't really watch him have too many of a bad series, maybe little offsets here and there. But then, of course, the only reason Atomic is as low as he is just because of how he did in the Swiss stage. I think Atomic did much better in the bracket stage. If he did that throughout the entire tournament, I'd have him so much higher. So I think when I think about that, that's my impact there. Zen at 3. I'm kind of on the same minds as like T-Bates and everybody else. I think that he was consistent and he really earned a lot of respect in my eyes from what he did to when Radosin was feeling bad when they were losing against Furia. And then I think everything else just kind of makes sense.
You Atomic really got carried from your POV. Atomic was like
That's not.
Atomic got carried.
It is kind of
big
what it looks
time.
like.
Or Atomic.
That's not.
It
That's
kind
not
of
what
looks
I
like Atomic
meant to-
sucked.
It's not what I. It's not. I mean, he's 13. That's
Mar,
like better
what
than
are you
half.
watching?
But when both his teammates are 1 and 2, though, I mean,
Mar, you need to go watch the breakdown as well.
I'm not watching anything you're
Watch
talking
the
about.
break.
Well-
That's for sure.
Whatever. Yeah. 'Cause Daniel, I mean, I love Dan. Baby Dan was not number 2, bro. Baby Dan was not number 2 as a land, brother.
I like
He was
Daniel
number 8.
too.
I love.
Yeah, I think
I,
he's
I,
9.
I love him. Nine's a good spot, CJ. I like 9.
Thank you. I think like he's good. Like 9 is it's a competitive top 12. I'd probably say top 11 once he gets in there, and then you got to have like your standout individual players on teams. Over on my average, I've still got G2 average number 1 in the event. If that makes sense. Falcons.
I think there was an obvious
listen,
top 3 for me.
Johnny definitely doesn't over there. And then,
I think I had them averaging. I mean, okay, I want to say, first of all, Beast Mode, if there was like a possibility to leave a gap, I would. Beast Mode was clear number 1,
Easily.
but you can't put a gap, so like there's just 1 and then 2. But yeah, I think on averages, I got G2 slightly behind Falcons. What are they behind by? Yeah, two placements, or like 0.67, I think. But yeah, Beast Mode is a strong 1, so G2 were the best team. But you can't really show that with a 1-2. There's no gap there.
Khalil's 1,
but
2.
It's hard to find a flaw with my list. I'm just going to put that out there. You know, I don't like to brag. As you guys know, I'm very, very humble. But my list is flawless. Absolutely flawless. And it's a rainbow list as
If I were to
well.
go back, I'd put
Rainbow.
Zen and LJ higher, but otherwise I'm quite happy. But also, you know, it was all on the committee, you know, any bad
The
choices.
committee.
He's
I
cute.
know,
LJ
you
and
put
Zen,
the committee, man, 'cause
just
the
put
committee
it so
isn't here.
low,
What
man.
they're gonna
This
say is
committee, dude.
you're an eight.
Yummy. Yeah, I don't want to say Yummy, but I think you do better alone. You are the MVP of these lists usually, and I don't.
I'm
know
firing
about this one.
Stumpy. Boyan
Yeah.
can, you know, be a sidekick still, but
I just want to point out though, like this, I think proves that we are not biased against NA as European and as Australians. No NA bias. This is you know, I think we've understood the assignment, passed with flying colors. And T-Bits, even when your team wins, you cannot put a list together to save yourself, mate. What have you done?
This is great.
This is a
This
disaster.
is great. You go by my credential, go by my qualifications, the logic behind it.
There's a lot of
Solid.
qualifications.
I don't think people know the logic behind
Oh,
it.
let me do a poll.
I'll
Come
do
on,
it.
Johnny
your logic
does
is
get
that if
bonus
somebody makes
points.
top 8, that automatically earns them
Your
a game,
logic is that if
guarantees it.
somebody beats Mobula by like 100 goals, that they deserve to be.
I don't give a
in the
damn
top
what he did
5.
against Mobile. I'm talking about what he did against.
I don't know,
Falcons,
'cause that's
he
not what it
did
looked
against
like.
Furia.
well, Johnny Boy gets bonus points for the rainbow. Staz,
I
you're
did
so
rainbow.
close until the top
It's beautiful.
four,
Yeah, it was
man.
close. I let it go at the
Oh.
end. I thought about changing it too.
You should have.
Yeah.
A little switch up of, wow. Switch Daniel a bit lower.
I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing these lists, man. Like, they're okay, bro. Like, obviously, Beast Mode number 1, we all had to put him.
Hey, credit to you,
Just-
Bates. You put 2 OCE players in your list.
You did put
Yeah.
2 OCE.
I think
Hey,
that was Bates.
But no, lost it. You started off on the wrong foot. Let's just revisit 25 lost. That might be the worst opening pick we've had in a while. Like you immediately lost. You lost. You literally lost. I can't believe that. And no Drafinho. Is that the worst omission? I think it might be.
Dr. Roofy.
Dr. Roofy's got to be
No.
in there. Everybody else had him at 16, 17, 18. You got to have him somewhere in that range, I think.
You both didn't have exotic in your list.
I did not have
I
exotic.
don't remember
no.
seeing Exotic play
Ooh.
Rocket League. Did you remember?
Nah,
seeing
Exotic
was-
Exotic play Rocket League? I didn't.
BDS were
I've-
very poor, especially in the quarters, and Exotic was their worst player, so I didn't put him in. I thought I'll put in Oski and Fever instead of Exotic, and did I need to take anyone else out? No, I think I just had to take out one player from my top 8 teams. I think Exotic was the worst player in the top 8 at this event, so he didn't make the cut.
It is criminal that Bates is third right now in the voting. I think
Ow.
Daz is getting cooked. His Daz has 6
It's all
votes.
good,
What
bro.
has he done
Mars
wrong?
doesn't
I
make
guess he did
sense.
put.
The Mars
It
list
makes
is
a great amount of
automatically the
sense.
worst.
Don't talk about anybody's list not making sense. Yours was bad from the start.
Mate,
From as soon as we revealed the first one, you
mate,
should just
your
not say
logic is that
anything.
once somebody makes top 8, they are guaranteed to be in the top 24 players. That is an asinine take.
If they've done it already this season, how does that not make sense?
It definitely can happen. But when there are outstanding players like Oski, I think it makes it difficult.
Players. You're saying
how many of these players made top 8 last time?
If somebody doesn't make top 8, they can't be a top 24 player at the LAN.
Top 24?
That makes no sense.
How?
I feel like it might have happened in Copenhagen, though. Like, was there a bad player in the top 8 last time? I don't think there was. I think all the players in the top 8 last time were probably top 25, plus Napo. That would just about be it, wouldn't it? Because who else was there? Like, there were no other good players in the bottom 8 last time in Copenhagen.
And the only reason he disagrees because he has to make arguments for every other person in his list, like Comm at 17, Oski at 10, and Lost at 25, and Brad at 23. We can go up and down. You said what?
I like Brad at 23.
I don't mind Brad. Cool. I don't mind Brad inclusion. Brad was phenomenal. I want to see more of Brad against Comm.
Yumi lost because Yumi had the committee. The committee did him wrong. So
the committee did him dirty.
The committee are a bit crazy, but it's also my own fault for not having the confidence to just do it by myself.
Yeah, and you recruited the wrong people. I feel like I lost this vote because of Dan at 9, and I'll die on the hill that I think that's a pretty fine spot for him to be in. I know they won the event. But
where would you have lost this? I mean, it was you were second, so you didn't lose by too much. But I mean, you've got to remember, CJ, you went away from the rainbow, and the rainbow just does look better.
The rainbow,
I rainbowed it.
Lost the rainbow.
Like our lists are not that. Our lists aren't that different, like on average. But I do have a rainbow, so. There's that.
I feel like my 4 NA picks down the bottom as well just doesn't look nice.
You didn't have an OC. You didn't have fever. You let the. Oh.
Yeah, that did. I mean,
he has become a traitor to the region. He predicted Oxygen to beat them, and obviously,
cursed Oxygen. You're welcome.
When's the British passport coming? You know.
It's so easy to cherry pick these series. Like, you look at the first series when Power played Oxygen, you put them in there. But then you look at, they nearly got perfect swept by Gen G. They conceded 4,000 goals. And Johnny Boy was memeing the cast the whole time about, please, can they score or own goal or do something? I mean,
any goal.
It's hard to put them in based on how they finished the event. Yeah.
I hope they figure it out. I want to see a good performance in the round 5 of Swiss, because they keep making round 5 of Swiss and just going out with the most pitiful performances of all time.
Disappointing.
It's disappointing. But
I still think T-Bates with 2 OCE plays is probably out of... I know there's been some crazy things like Oski at 10 and whatnot, but I think you having 2 OCE plays is easily the most surprising thing on your list out of everything.
With 2 OCE players?
Yeah.
That's saying something.
I'm a firm
believer. I think you just watched the first series. You just watched the Oxygen Power series.
Yeah, he did.
And you're like, oh my God.
Oh yeah, it's a good question.
I'm a firm believer that OCE, man, you put Bananahead Fever, put Super Lucky on the team maybe or something, I really do believe they get top 8. I really do believe that.
There's a good question in chat from Moist Buns RL. Is Beast Mode the best player in the world at the moment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me that, and I feel like it's a very hard question. It's hard for me to say Zen's not. So
I've still personally got Zen at 1, but Beast Mode is probably 2. Beast Mode or Itachi, I'd say, is
I wouldn't mind Beast Mode being up there.
I think it's Zen number 1, and then for me it would be Beast Mode or Itachi, because Itachi's LAN performances are very consistently good, and Beast Mode's LAN performances are very consistently good. Same with Zen.
I will say I'm not going to doubt General Mates again. I had them too low in my pre.
They're just LAN boys.
They are actually just LAN boys.
Massive LAN boys. You got to put them.
It's quite surprising though, because I think word on the street was BDS were winning all of the scrims. So I don't know what is going on with that team as soon as they play the LAN.
They just have a bad matchup against General Mates. They can't beat them on LAN.
Yeah, I think they are in their heads a little bit. There's no doubt. But also, I mentioned earlier on, Gen G could have had a very different LAN if they won the Game 5, one of the Game 5s. Same true for BDS, probably. If they won the Game 5 against Falcons, they probably have a very different LAN. That probably took quite a lot of wind out of their sails in Swiss, losing to Falcons in 5. In overtime. Man, overtime Game 5, that's tough. But yeah, any closing thoughts? Before you go and study for the bar TPs.
I'm done studying, bro. It's 10 o'clock.
Oh, I just mean for the rest of the month, like sure, before you go off the grid.
Oh. Thing is, G2 best in the game. If you think that Falcons play bad, you weren't watching Rocket League, or you were just carving a moment. So I need you to go back and watch the series. Y'all rate team performance a little too much. Y'all weight a little too much in your rankings. I think CJ is the closest one to closer to.
You like that
individual
LJ at
performance.
4. I know.
LJ at
You like
4.
the-
I mean, it's
you
not only
like
the LJ at 4. It's Jan at 5, but Johnny has Jan at 7.
I got
so it's
Jan
not
at 7, LJ at 8, bro. It's not.
LJ at 8 is a little low. LJ was
Look
definitely
at
top
who's
5
above
player.
him though. Look at who's above him. We got Dan, Zen, Clears. Like these are some pretty
I
stacked
just don't
players.
believe Clears or TRK or Horitachi play better than LJ. But
No question. It's actually no question.
But yeah, so I think y'all weighed team performance a little too much in y'all's who were the best 25 players at the LAN. But these are always fun. Those are my closing thoughts.
Everybody, I'll put T-Bait. He's talking about the video that he keeps referencing.
No, don't link it. Don't link it. No, I want him to go find it.
No, I'm gonna link it.
Let's
I
go.
mean, how are they gonna find it?
I'll link it.
I'm linking it. It's called How G2 Shut Down Team Falcons Bait Breakdown, which is great. I'm definitely gonna watch that. I might even
CJ spamming, bro.
I might even do a breakdown of your breakdown actually.
Oh, God, here he comes.
I might break
Here he
down the break.
comes.
I might break down the breakdown.
I know.
I like that.
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
know.
whip
I know you're gonna do that.
I'm gonna whip
I know
out the
you're gonna
epic
do that.
pen.
That's why you're asking about how many goals are unforced. I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're thinking, Johnny. I'm not
Yep.
stupid.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Six
Wait,
outplays. Six.
I'm just skimming through this. Did you break down your intro as well? There's 9 minutes. You're watching the pre-show as well. you're rating your performance on the desk.
No, I wasn't rating my performance on the desk. I was just setting it up. It took a little while, and I was chilling, talking to chat. It was just my stream. I just took it on there.
I like it.
Nice. Yeah, thanks all for coming on again. Yummy, will you have the mustache back for the next one, or are you going to keep it?
Yeah,
Nice.
I think I can grow it in 2 months?
Yeah, 2 months.
Can you?
Worlds?
I want to see you clean shave for the next one, and just the jawline, the crisp, and just coming.
I wish I had a jawline.
No,
but
so
yeah,
next,
always fun.
we'll have to do a pre-one for Worlds if we're all around. We'll have to do a pre-one.
Definitely.
Another ad.
You'll know,
Yeah, we do.
you'll know life is going well for me if I'm not here, because realistically, I'm here because I don't have a job. So
Get somebody
Nah,
employ
you'll
Yummy
be-
Cheese Man.
unless we do it on a
You'll still be
weekend,
on.
Get the petition started to have Yummy back at Worlds. Like, it's wrong not to have Yummy at
Yeah.
Worlds. But yeah, thanks to you all for joining. Dazzer and Daz, any final words? Anything we can catch you up to in the next couple of weeks? I feel like we're just all MIA right now. There's nothing
Yeah.
happening.
I mean, yeah, no, not much for me. I'm gonna be a little under the radar these next couple months. So, I just got some stuff I'm working on myself. But I do enjoy the list streams. I do hope we bring them back because it's a lot of fun.
All right, CJ, we'll see you in Chalked.
See you on Chalk tomorrow,
right.
probably.
Yeah, see you
We'll
in
get a
Chalked.
couple of these blokes on.
GG's everybody. Hope you enjoyed the live stream.
GGs.
Thanks you all for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. Oh, that's unlucky timing. I muted right before he said see ya. Wait, do it again.
oh, now no one will never
See
know he said
ya!
see ya.